Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Yep.
I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
What up?
Hey, oi, hey.
Hey.
Hey,
Oi.
oi, hey.
Hey.
To the beans. Auto beans.
Ow! I did an ow today.
Pretty
instead of
good.
a
Pretty
Coop.
good this
Like
morning,
that.
boys.
It's early for the out. That's such a dangerous move, bro.
Yeah, you could have come out with that.
The secret to the ow is you got to be fully awake or fully exhausted. I'll
Just
leave it up
lean
to
into
you
it.
to decide which one I am. So you need to be fully aware and fully in control of the noises you make, or fully out of control.
Based on your eyes, I'm going to say that you are fully in control.
Yeah. How open,
You nailed
you
it.
see how open they are? Pretty good, right?
Strong.
Pretty good.
Now that my eyes are naturally open, we got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Craig is in here saying hi. What's up, Craig?
Howdy, Craig. Good to see you, my
Howdy.
friend.
And Tommy in the chat with a little rhyme for us bright and early this morning. Said, I
Rhyme
woke
time.
up this morning with a chill in me bones. Oh, please,
Arr.
JMD, do not trade for Mac Jones. Just stick with Stidham. He is not that crappy. Heck, out of the two, I would prefer Bailey Zappi.
Oh,
Wow.
dropping bars and dropping bombs in the rhymes this morning,
Bars
Tommy.
and bombs.
Yo, Tommy, I just want to say, I think this goes in the upper echelon of rhymes you've thrown in the chat. It
Yeah.
works. It's topical. I did it. Just kudos. Happy
I'm with you.
Tuesday, Tommy.
You dropped a me bones in there, which I like.
Me bones are.
Me bones.
Shiver me bones. No, that's
Shiver
not the
me
phrase.
Shiver me
enough.
timber bones.
Shiver me bones. That's all the pirates say, you know.
We are so dumb.
Yeah.
I can't believe they gave us a 3-hour show. That's pretty stupid.
Jill, name a pirate besides
You think they
Black.
could take it back?
Jack Sparrow.
That's pretty
Ooh.
good. Coop, any pirate besides Blackbeard or Jack Sparrow.
David Jones.
Oh, Davy Jones.
Look at that. We got 2 extra pirates.
You
We're
name.
not
Oh,
bad
now you
now.
name one.
Captain Feathersword.
Oh, feather sword. Me nemesis.
From the
Yeah.
Wiggles. He is from the Wiggles. And he has a feather duster as a sword.
I was fully about to call you out on it.
I'm gonna
Then
allow.
you said it was from the Wiggles, and I was like, "Yep, that checks out."
He's very real. If the Wiggles are also
He
considered
could
real.
also just be made up, and you could have just said the Wiggles, and I would have fully believed you.
It literally just looks like Ryan Hallam in an eye patch.
Shut up, Ryan. I've never thought about that. That's hilarious.
Captain Feathersword.
Feather sword.
All right. So is that a real rumor though? Because it's a pretty good rhyme. I imagine he wouldn't just make it up. So has that been floated? Because I didn't see that.
I was wondering the same thing because if that is, that would be really funny for the Raiders.
Dude, and it would explain a lot as well. Like, first of all, why Bailey Zappi was picked in the first place. Like maybe, and you think about it, you have Mac Jones had a great year with Josh McDaniel. I mean, not great, but good. It was the second highest completion percentage for a rookie all time, right? Then last year, there's clips of him yelling at Matt Patricia, saying, run the effing ball. And in all while that's going on, Bill Belichick drafts another QB. So maybe Mac Jones is a McDaniels guy and Bailey Zappi's a Belichick guy. And that could solve a lot of problems. I don't know, Tommy.
I think you hit on the crux of the rumor. McDaniels was with the Patriots when they drafted Mac Jones, right? That's where the rumors are stemming from. I haven't seen too much else backing it up besides kind of speculation that we saw cracks in the Mac Jones as a franchise quarterback for Bill Belichick armor this year. Like you mentioned, maybe he's not the dude for Bill, and Josh McDaniels was with the Pats when they drafted him, and Josh McDaniels' quarterback is leaving. Like I'm not sure there's anything else besides just the pieces lining up that are leading to this rumor getting out there, because the pieces are lining up.
It could happen. I mean, it solves a lot of headaches for me. So I
Yeah,
like
as I say, you have to be happy as a Patriots fan if that trade happens.
Yeah, because it's like, the thing is, like part of us deep down, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'm going to, like, are worried that neither is the guy. And just having two guys that are on rookie deals with like multiple years left, that where you're like, I don't know if either of these guys is the future. That's kind of a nightmare scenario. At least if you get rid of one of them, then you've only got one guy that you now need to also get rid of. Right. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough situation if you don't know. So I'd be on board with it. Send them on over.
Kind of like pets.
And Tommy says no.
That sounded a little bit like you were doubting Bailey Zappi. Sorry, that sounds crazy, but were you?
Are you willing to put your name on that?
Deep down, I just don't know if
you hate the Zap Master,
if he's going to be the next great 4th round quarterback.
Who was the last great 4th round?
Dak Prescott.
Kirk Cousins technically better stats than Dak Prescott.
I said great.
Coop. And Fran Tarkenton.
There you go.
Fran Tarkenton. Where were we when we saw a Fran Tarkenton billboard or poster or banner?
He comes up a lot.
You and I were together, which doesn't happen very often, and we were walking around, and boom,
Fran Tarkenton. It was Texas. It was when I was in Texas.
Yeah, it was at the antique store. It was at the antique store
in Texas.
Fran Tarkenton was actually a 3rd round pick, so my bad. I gotta retract that.
Oh, he was not at the antique store. Now that you said that.
Now that you say that, yeah.
Yeah,
that was someone else. That was Frank Tarkenton.
Frank. He was a 4th round pick. Great guy.
Well, guys, we already started talking a little bit of news this morning, but it is time to officially get into it. That was just your appetizer for breakfast. But bring out whatever you brought to eat this morning, whether it's beans or donuts or a little bit of coffee like JL's been having the past couple of days. It's BYOB. Bring your own breakfast. We got the news. We got the stories. You just got to bring something to eat. John Luke, you bring anything to nibble on this morning?
Just a little bit of fiber this morning. Nothing big. Nothing big.
Nice.
A little.
Delicious.
A little
That's
fiber.
my favorite flavor. Coop, what about you?
I already ate my breakfast. I had an English muffin with peanut butter and chocolate milk and a coffee.
God, I gotta love those nooks and crannies.
Not bad, dude. Oh yeah, they were nooked up and crammed down. So now I'm ready to party. What about you, Simon? Do you have anything?
Not a thing. And I left my water in the other room, so I will be having nothing.
That's the worst feeling,
right? Because I'm looking at the clock. It's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute. I'm just gonna be thirsty.
Yep, I thought about it too. That's why right when the intro started playing, I ran into the other room so I could get my half-drunk glass of water from the night before. And now it's empty because I chugged it right away.
You thirsty
just immediately.
Boy. Oh, you're so thirsty. We got Jolly Rancher in the chat. What's up, Mom? She said, "Good one."
What up, Mama Grudeville?
She's happy with your breakfast too. You're making all the moms happy with your breakfast.
See, angels. And my mom. I got to get my mom in the chat. She was listening yesterday. Apparently, she said that she would not. She would not hook up with Zach Wilson and force me to be a Jets fan, which was good news. But then she followed that up by saying, if it's going to be any team, it'll be the Bengals. I like their uniforms. So
what's she saying about Joe Burrow?
That's the part that she wasn't clear on.
I mean, Joe Burrow, he's got the same looks as Zach Wilson, but he's a little more humble and cute about it.
You guys have seen the Joe Burrow like memes, right, on TikTok, where it's like, ask your girlfriend if she knows who Joe Burrow is. Then it's all these people like stitching it, and they're like, quarterback for the Bengals. Ask her what his numbers. Number 9. Ask him where he went to college. Ohio State. And it just like gets like deeper and deeper and deeper. He's got a cult following. People are
Did he go to Ohio State first?
No, he didn't go to Ohio State. He went to LSU.
He did go to Ohio State first.
That's what I said. I said, didn't he go to Ohio State first? Because I was like, wait a minute, Ohio State.
These girls are mega fans. They're in. The Thirst Trap TikTok has all the details.
It's pretty funny. But Joe Burrow's got a nice little cult following online. Speaking of quarterbacks that at least have a thought cult following. Daniel Jones, I don't know what he's thinking. He must think he's Joe Burrow at this point. It's now being reported that he's expecting $45 million per year. This one coming from Pro Football Talk. It's probably expected that the Giants just franchise tag him at this point, if that's his expectations.
Right. And the big problem with that is that if they do franchise tag him, they can't franchise tag Saquon Barkley. So now Barkley ends up most likely heading to unrestricted free agency.
Boo.
Boo is right. I'm not paying Daniel Jones 45.
Apparently he switched agents just this past week, which might explain why he's demanding so much.
He switched agents because he was like, I actually want $50 million.
And they were like,
So he had to find a new agent. Now, it could be that his current agent is the one demanding the 45 and he's willing to settle for a little less. So that could be the case, right? We'll have to see how that shakes out. But that is that's a lot of money for a guy that just last year they could have picked up a 5th-year option for him for around $32 million, and they decided not to do that. So I don't know. I personally I'd be willing to give him the $32 million that we were going to give him, or $35 million, but 45 over the top.
If I'm Daniel Jones, I'm doing exactly this, though, because he's not Joe Burrow. Like, whenever we look at Joe Burrow and he talks about maybe giving up some of his salary to keep his team together, Joe Burrow's got a shot, maybe a long one, but a shot at being the greatest of all time, right? That is in his range of outcomes, I think. Him, Patrick Mahomes, there's a couple guys in the NFL that could do it. And maybe for them, that legacy is more important. Like, they could win a couple Super Bowls if they sacrifice some of their pay to make the team around them better. Like we were talking about with Joe Burrow. That's not happening with Daniel Jones, and he probably knows that. He just had the best year of his career so far, and it might be the best year of his career. You don't know for sure. Get that money. Say you want $50 million. Find somebody who will pay you and just take that money now, because you're not going to like build a legacy like some of these other quarterbacks probably. Get your payday.
Yeah. Well, as Keith points out, you said he had a good year, dude. He threw 15 touchdown passes. Like 2000. I
still was a good year.
I got murdered for this tweet. I said 2020, 11 touchdowns, bust. 2021, 10 touchdowns, bust. 2022, 15 touchdowns, franchise quarterback. And all the Giants fans got all worked up, unfollowing me and sending me mean tweets. And then now that it turns out that he wants 45 million, everyone's like, "Oh, he's not worth that." It's like, where were you guys when I was saying that? Huh?
He's a playoff QB, which is nice.
Playoff QB.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, there's been some other what was the guy's name on the 49ers? I just blanked on who their like 8th string quarterback was that came into the game and got it. Josh Johnson. He's a playoff quarterback too.
And I mean, he didn't get to the playoffs.
You're right.
He played in the playoffs. I wasn't saying a playoff quarterback is one who just simply plays.
Is Daniel Jones a playoff QB, or is Brian Daboll just a good coach? Because we saw this with Sean McVay, where he brought Jared Goff to the Super Bowl. Then once they switched to Matt Stafford, things got quite a bit easier. So it could just be a situation where they have a really good coach.
That being said, we're also seeing Jared Goff find success in another system now, right? Maybe Jared Goff isn't as bad as we thought he was. He looked pretty good in Detroit this year.
I think
the combo is worth considering, right? The coach QB combo, because QB is going to be boosted or hindered by their coach.
Jared Goff might be able to bring the Lions all the way to lose a Super Bowl, just like he did with the Rams.
Maybe.
That'd be pretty
Maybe.
That'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty cool, right? He could be the next Kirk Cousins if he steps it up high enough. Make it to some very important playoff games,
or close to him.
End up on the wrong side of some very important big games. Yeah, that's the guy you want at quarterback, right? So,
did you guys see Robbie Anderson changed his name to Chosen?
Don't you mean Chosen Anderson, formerly known as Robbie Anderson, changed his name to Chosen?
That is exactly who I meant.
Isn't that his Twitter handle? Does it have the 1 in it instead of an E, just like his Twitter handle?
I don't know.
Because if it does, then I respect the move. If it's just Chosen, yeah.
I think the stupid naming rules probably won't let you have a number in your name. But every time he writes it, I bet he puts the number in there.
Yeah.
Just like on the certificate, on the piece of paper, it probably doesn't have the number in there.
It's funny. We were critical of him changing his name from Robbie with a Y to Robbie with a IE.
Because that's hard to remember.
This one's going to be pretty easy to remember.
That's what I'm saying. Like Robbie with a Y to Robbie with an IE. That's like the Zach thing all over again that we were talking about yesterday. Robbie to Chosen, no problem. Click.
Easy.
Remember.
Big change. Yeah.
Where does it rank among the greatest athlete name changes of all time, though?
I mean, Ocho Cinco's got to be up there.
Ocho Cinco's up there. So would you rank Ocho Cinco ahead of Chosen or Chosen?
Yeah. No, Ocho Cinco.
Would you rank Meta World Peace ahead of Ocho Cinco or Ocho Cinco?
Meta World Peace is pretty good.
That might be the number one for athlete name changes.
Yeah.
Especially
pretty freaking good.
Especially
Meta World Peace.
Especially when you consider who did it. Like Ron Artest, you guys remember the Malice at the Palace? Like that guy changed it into Meta World Peace. I watched him punch 3 fans in the face. Right? So yeah. That's got to be number one.
Number one. And he was on Celebrity Big Brother and just said, I'm not doing this. He self-evicted. He was like, just like, kick me out. I'm done. This is not fun at all, guys.
Wait a second. He did that on a celebrity, because I just was talking to my mother-in-law who said she was watching a similar wilderness show where he wanted to do the same thing, and Mike Singletary convinced him not to quit. So that's his new thing, going on reality shows and quitting early.
I think so. He's just collecting the paycheck and then leaving. Like all of these like reality shows that get like the next tier of celebrity, he's like, I'm in.
Yeah, he quit. That show was called Beyond the Edge, and he also quit that.
Just do like Celebrity Family Feud and just do like one round, lose and quit.
He does what was that Family Double Dare? He gets slimed he gets a little slime on him and he's like, I'm out.
I'm leaving. I don't have to stay for this.
I'm not staying for this. Did you guys see what Ohio State QB CJ Stroud said about social media?
Yeah, so weird.
So, dude, that really puts in perspective like the amount of criticism these guys get. So he says that he doesn't use social media during the season. So in the offseason, he'll use like Twitter, Instagram, whatever. But during the season, he won't use it. And that doesn't give fans an avenue to be like critical of him and yell at him. He says that during the season, people found his Venmo account and they were sending him money so that they could criticize him. That is like insanity, is it not?
The best take I saw on that was like, so it's like OnlyFans, but for insults. You just get to go on there and pay them, and instead of getting to see some sexy pics, you get to just say your meanest thing you want to them.
I'm totally fine with that. Like, if all of the people that hate me want to send me money to say mean things about me, I will gladly welcome it.
You'd be rich, dude.
Oh my god!
Would you share with me?
I'd send you some dough.
Yeah.
Oh,
go get lunch.
Would you just refund me? Actually,
yeah.
I got some shit to say.
I'll send it back.
I'd be broke. Like if we could send you money to say all the mean things we wanted to say about you, JL, I'd be broke.
Please help yourself.
Help yourself. I do have your Venmo.
The buffet is open.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's social media. It's first of all, it's not a real place. But I was going to say it's a crazy place, but it's also not a real place.
Craig said, I tried to send JL money and he refunded it. Yeah, because you told me it was for a league payment is why you wanted my Venmo.
Haters only.
They just sent me money out of the blue.
Payment?
League payment.
Oh, my next question was going to be
League of Legends.
As in like LEAK, or leak as in like LEEK, like the onion. Like was Craig making his monthly
needed
leak
onion.
payment? Yes, sir. Here is your leak payment.
Here are your leaks.
Ensure my leaks arrive on time. Speaking of leaks, Jim Bob Cooter is expected to be named the offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. This coming to us from Jeremy Fowler. Jim Bob Cooter, if you don't remember, was the pass game coordinator with the Jaguars and is a former Lions offensive coordinator. And his name is Jim Bob Cooter. Are you thinking of? You're thinking of You're thinking of someone else entirely, JL. You were thinking
I?
of what the heck is his name? The guy who's at Texas A&M now.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his name. I hated him for a long time.
Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo Fisher. That's who you were thinking of. No, this is Jim Bob Cooter.
You're right. It's the Jim part that got me.
Now, do you guys remember the incidents that Jim Bob Cooter had in the past that were kind of bizarre?
No,
well, I thought that he was someone entirely different just 2 minutes ago, so probably not.
So Jim Bob Cooter in 2006 he had a DUI, but in 2009 he had an incident where he also got too drunk. But this time he was charged with burglary because he climbed into a woman's window and then took his pants off. Turns out that he thought he was climbing into his own place and just going to bed, right? But yeah, not a super cool move.
No. Life pro tip to everyone. Confirm you're in your own home before your pants come off. Like, turn on a light. Just one. Just see that, like, the bedspread is the right bedspread. Know what I mean? Like something simple.
I ain't turning on the lights if I come home late and Rhea's sleeping. Ain't no way I'm turning on the lights or I'm getting chewed out.
I mean, dude, there had to be some sort of light. How it's not that easy to jimmy open a window and get through there.
Maybe it was one of those neighborhoods where all the houses look the same.
Oh, I would hope so.
How many times in college did you hear the story of, and then there was a random guy on my couch, and I came downstairs and there was a random girl asleep in my living room. I came downstairs and there's a guy asleep on the floor in my kitchen. Like, not like 100, but like 10.
There's a decent,
you know what I mean?
Like
there's
a handful of stories. Yeah.
And
I've heard that like 10 times.
At least half the time it's either Jim Bob Cooter or it's Chad Kelly.
It's either Chad Kelly or Jim Bob Cooter every time, depending on where in the country you were.
Yeah. It's almost always Swag Kelly.
Looks like the charges are later dropped, so probably seems like
probably
got sorted out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you think you're in your own house, it's not crazy to take your pants off. I'll say that.
Right.
I'm not wearing pants right now in my own home. Jim Bob Cooter will give you the benefit of the doubt. Just keep your pants on for the time being and check your own home before you.
For the time being, like there's going to be a time where. All right, Jim. Now
take them off.
Take them off. Oh, yeah, Jim.
He's got a new system of checking to see if it's okay.
He says, "Hey, like, Jonathan Taylor." Look at me.
Look at me.
Speaking of goofy ass coaches, I just have to bring this up. Did you guys see the video of Jonathan Gannon introducing himself to Rondale Moore?
No.
You have to look it up. He walks up to him, shakes his hand, and goes, whoosh, 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 whoosh. Shots. Explosive. You can run.
Oh my God.
Who?
Jonathan Gannon, the new head coach of the Cardinals, former defensive coordinator for the Eagles, just goes, shh, 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 shots. Explosive.
Oh,
you can run.
People comparing to Michael Scott is what I'm seeing.
It sounds like a Russell Wilson Subway commercial. Can we, Keith? Can we see if we can find that, please? I need that. I need that cringe in this morning.
Yeah, see if you can get that up here for us because it's pretty bad, man.
During a recent conversation with Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, Gannon said that he does not have a scheme. That is not a joke. And here's the quote. And they're like, "You're an effing idiot. Great. You're going to get fired." But literally, I don't even have a playbook. It's in my brain.
Shut up, dude. So the craziest part of that is, so apparently the Eagles tried to pay him just more money than he was going to get paid to go elsewhere. They were like, "We're going to pay you like a head coach," and he said no. So everybody loves this guy, even though he's got the playbook in his brain, huh?
He's got the playbook in his brain, and he's in the running for goofiest mofo to be the head coach of an NFL team, I think, like just based on that one video I saw. That's how he chose to introduce himself.
I love this strategy of just like, let's get a quirky young guy in here and see what happens. See if the magic happens. Who knows?
That'll working for the Dolphins.
It is. It's worked for a lot of organizations. I'm just waiting for it not to work.
because that'll be the best thing. I think we might have gotten our time when it is just Michael Scott, which that would be the best. Oh, please,
Urban Meyer. He's not
please
young.
give them. Now I want
He's
them to
not
get Hard
goofy.
Knocks.
He's also not goofy.
Are they eligible for Hard Knocks?
Who, the Cardinals?
Yeah, need it
I
bad.
don't know. What are the requirements for being eligible for Hard Knocks? You can't have
actually,
made the playoffs,
Can't be a first-time coach, or can it?
and they just were in the in season, so I wonder if that affects. Their
Oh, yeah, they
eligibility
won't
for
do it again.
off-season.
Yeah, that could be it.
They wouldn't do
Dang.
it one after the
Dang.
other. That would be ridiculous.
We'll have to get
Michael
him eventually.
Scott as a head coach would be pretty sweet. Tommy said Michael Scott would be the Will Ferrell as head coaches, like kicking and screaming style Will Ferrell.
That would be excellent.
Was there ever an instance I feel like throughout the entire show of The Office, there has to have been an instance where we saw Michael Scott as a coach, or at least where he thought he was a coach, like where he took on a coaching role. Surely, right?
I guarantee it, dude. But he's usually always a player.
He plays
as well.
the basketball. Yeah, the
basketball,
basketball
I was
game is
thinking.
the one that immediately comes to mind.
There's also the racing episode where he eats all the.
Oh yeah,
Feta-
but he's a
fettuccine
competitor
Alfredo.
in each of those.
Yeah, I don't know if there's ever one where he's the coach, but that would have
Yeah,
been great.
he does
I mean,
he does the whole like see who's worthy to become the next manager, and he does that whole giant obstacle course thing with the sumo suits and the firewalk.
I gotta watch that again, man. It's
That's
too
a good
good.
one.
They got
Andy
the
starts
they got
floating
the,
in his sumo suit.
they got the extended cut episodes on Peacock.
Mhm.
If you want some, but those are always funny to watch because it's been a while since I've watched like season 1 and 2 of The Office. So I've got memories of the episodes, but I don't remember them perfectly. And it's the same characters doing recognizable things, but you're watching a scene and you don't know if you've seen it before or not because it's so familiar, but it is new content, but it's mixed in there with all the other old stuff. So it's kind of like you spend the whole time like, is this new? Have I seen this?
I don't know if I like that. That's like one of those dreams that's like too real, and when you wake up, you're like, did that happen? I don't know. So I don't know if I like that with The Office.
See, I think Keith has the video for us here that we can play for you guys. Get that up here.
Yeah, let's get going.
Coach
Hey,
Jonathan.
what's up, man? How you doing? Good. Good. Shoo, 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 shoo. Shots, explosives. You can run.
Shoo 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 shoo.
Oh my god, dude!
It's a Mia. You can run.
I'm having a secondhand panic attack, dude. Like that is. I feel like I just watched an episode of Doug. I'm like,
Is he
what?
like fully confident, or is he
think
like
so.
worried about it?
I think the look in his eyes said like, I'm the head coach, baby. Know what I mean?
You
Like you
have
can
to
think
be.
whatever you want, but I'm the head coach.
I'm the head ball coach. I'm sure if you asked him about that, he would go into an explanation that just continuously made it worse and worse.
He looks like he's trying to look like Pee Wee Herman.
My favorite comment underneath this video that I saw was, Murr, for your punishment, you have to be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
Dude, when I see that,
He
it
looks
actually
just like Murr from the Practical Jokers.
when I see that, it actually makes me more confident that this guy's a good coach.
Because he made it in spite of being a goofy ass mofo.
Exactly. Like this
Does
isn't
kinda
some
look like
dude
that guy.
that can. Yeah, this isn't some dude that can just talk his way into things. Like he has to be a good coach.
You're right. He's not just smooth talking his way to the top. He doesn't look like a defensive coordinator. Like he's not like the big tough guy. He's just this lanky meerkat of a man running around coaching the best defense in the league, apparently.
What a stud.
best
Jonathan
defense.
Gannon, I'm in your corner. I like you.
Pew pew. Yeah,
Don't take your pants off in anybody's home. Don't grope any
Rule
co-eds at
number
college
one.
bars. Just be nice, please.
you can run. Like, dude, no.
You can run. Boom.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to shift real quick. And I know, JL, you might have to cover your ears for this one or take your headset off. Not sure you guys saw there was a big NASCAR race this week. The Daytona 500. That's the one. JL.
I got
You
you.
were I didn't know you were there, JL.
I was.
And I'm not sure if you guys know this race. It's like it gets a lot of criticism from the drivers. This one in Talladega, the super speedways, and now I guess Atlanta's.
Is it Will Ferrell?
Sorry.
Because of Will Ferrell, Talladega gets a lot of shit.
Yeah,
or other reasons.
Because they made Talladega Nights and they haven't made Daytona Nights yet, and everyone's been waiting on it.
Sequel, that'd be so good.
Yeah,
That's such a good name for the sequel.
It would be perfect. I mean, hit me up if you guys want that title. I can,
yeah, it's network executives.
I could sell it to you. It'll cost you a couple mean Venmos to my buddy JL, but that's the going rate.
Few insults.
You got to send some insults and some money to jail. But the basically what happens is every time at these motor speedways, because they go like 4 or 5 cars wide, there's always a massive wreck at some point, usually multiple. So the drivers always get super upset, but it does make the comments funny. For instance, my boy Kyle Busch, he's never won this race. He's actually one time he broke both his legs racing at this racetrack. And this time they asked him about the race where he was like out in front, he had a very good shot at winning. And then obviously there was a huge wreck, ends up in the garage. And they ask him about how he feels about Daytona. He goes, I come down here every year to find out when and where I'm going to crash and what lap I'm going to come out of the care center on. Who won? I didn't even know who won. I didn't even know who lucked into it. And then the person interviewing him goes, it was Ricky Stenhouse. He goes, they have it, and just walked away. Literally didn't even know who won the race. But just there were comments from a lot of people that were just like, this race is becoming a joke.
Is there a world where it stops? Like where enough drivers cause protests? Like we're seeing other sports, specifically football. Like we talk a lot about football here, make changes for player safety, right? If this race is considered more dangerous, if there are more wrecks than at other races, are there chances there's big changes or that this race doesn't continue? I know it's got a lot of history too.
Yeah, I mean,
what's the reason there's wrecks? Is there like have they pinpointed is it the track? Is it the
So they say it's 2 things. It's a combination of the restrictor plates, which like apparently my understanding is that like it prevents you from going like too fast, which keeps the races closer. And the other thing is that it does have the capability when they call it super speedway, it does have the capability to go up to like 4 or 5 cars wide, where some of the tracks at most you can go 2 or 3 wide, and then there's less, bumping into each other. But when it goes like 5 wide, then it's going to go nuts. And the other part of it is that like the track near me, Loudon, it's an oval, but it's very flat, so you have to slow down on the turns. These ones are banked heavily, so it's literally just going like 5 cars wide until
like what? Oh, okay.
I enjoy it every time. It's just
didn't think I could do that again
with joy.
You? Yeah, and then that's pretty much the Daytona 500 every year. So
wow, I'm surprised they don't have loop-de-loops.
Oh my god,
that would make NASCAR so much more fun. Just have to keep driving fast enough to keep your momentum so that you can make it through the loop.
I feel like I've watched hundreds of videos of people on mini dirt bikes not quite making it through a loop-de-loop.
Oh yeah, that was like a whole genre of YouTube for a while.
Oh my god, I've seen in the early 2000s, I saw about 500 20 to 30-year-old men try to make it around a loop on a mini motorcycle. I don't know where all these guys were getting mini motorcycles and loops, but
are you guys loop guys? You like loops?
At the end of the day, it seems way cooler than it is.
A roller coaster I went on was called Loop-de-Loop.
Oh, on the loop. Oh, on roller coasters, yeah, they're great. I'm just saying, like when you have like the mini bike, you almost have to show people not making it, because if they just make it first try, it doesn't seem that cool.
Because you just go so fast through it.
I think
it's pretty cool.
You got to show the difficulty factor first, though, of people just like getting all mangled up, and then you're like, oh, you made it.
Joe, my first roller coaster had a loop-de-loop as well, and it wasn't the loop-de-loop, but it did have a loop in it.
Oh yeah, how many? One,
I believe it was the Mind Bender.
That was all I was ready for.
I know, dude. I is that the one that goes like up and then back around the single loop?
No, that one is Deja Vu, which they got rid of in Atlanta because too many people got injured on it.
That's terrifying. Whenever there's like a ride that people just keep getting hurt on or dying.
Yeah, I used to ride the hell out of that one. And then there's other The ride Acrophobia at Atlanta. It's the one that it's the drop.
Spear poles.
Acrophobia. I think
What is
that's the fear of
acrophobia?
heights. I think it's
Heights,
the fear of heights. But it's the free fall where they take you to the top and drop you. But before they drop you, they tilt you forward so you're
Yeah.
looking at the ground. Well, that one was notorious when I was growing up for getting stuck. It happened 2 or 3 times. And one of the times it was after they had tilted them forward and they were stuck for 8 hours.
Oh my
Can you
god.
imagine being up in the air, tilted forward,
For a
looking at the
full
ground
work day?
for a full ass work day? You better hope you didn't leave your phone at the bottom.
Be so
Oh,
hungry.
do they get snacks?
I was gonna say, yeah. Did they at least send up like some churros?
If
Be starving.
Yeah, they sent up the leftover Oreo churros from the stand nearby.
Have
I
you
was
guys
thinking
ever
of
heard?
trypophobia, which is fear of disgust of a fear of pattern of holes. You guys ever seen that?
I
Like a
have seen that.
honeycomb?
I
Pretty
have
sure my
seen it.
brother has that.
I don't mind it until someone mentions the phobia, and then when they should give examples, I'm just like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures on Google here.
Now, have you guys ever
Not
heard?
like pleasant, but
Have you guys ever heard of Action Park in New Jersey?
I
No.
recently, so Coop, I was walking around a bookstore the other day and I saw a bright green book tucked in all the like nonfiction books. And my eyes were drawn to the bright green. I pulled it out and it was like titled like Action Park, the most dangerous theme park to ever exist in American history or something like that was the subtitle. I almost bought it.
Here are some nicknames for Action Park in New Jersey: Traction Park, Class Action Park, Accident Park, and Friction Park.
Friction bar.
Tommy
Come
the
on.
Checos grew up there, still missing skin. Like I saw a documentary on it once, and like some of the rides there, like some of them were just normal rides that were poorly put together. Some of them were outright crazy dangerous from the start. They had this like basically a bobsled track where you were on mini like cars that had like one handbrake and no way to steer them, and they were just like, all right, go get them. You know what I mean? Just like figure out your way to the bottom. Like just insane, some of these things, which of course there were a large number of injuries and fatalities.
Action Park.
Yeah,
I
but
need to look more into it.
At the same time, though, when I was watching the documentary, there were a number of things where I was looking at it and I was like, that would be so dope. Like just like crazy, like rope swings that you could just do flips off of too, and like all these like things that are obviously too dangerous, but at the same time, they'd be so cool.
We got Trenton in the chat said, morning, gents. Morning, Trenton. Good to see you. And we got Dustin said, what's up, boys? We talking Action Park? That place was crazy.
Oh, you guys all went there.
Crazy.
I never got a chance to go, dude.
Well, maybe that's
It
because you
closed
smell.
2 years after I was born. So
1999.
yeah. And then closed again the year I graduated high school.
Wow. The
I
beginning.
guess it
and end of an
reopened.
era.
It reopened. It closed in 96, reopened in 2014, and then closed again in 2016.
Oh yeah, probably
Only
because
lasted 2 years.
people probably went back expecting like the old Action Park, and there's no way in 2014.
This is too safe.
Exactly. That's 100% what happened.
Yeah.
100% that's what would happen.
Listen to this. Here, listen to this quote. The last quote from this. They had a skateboard park there, a skate park that was so poorly designed and where the edges weren't smooth that a former employee said the skate park was responsible for so many injuries that we just covered it up with dirt and pretended it never existed.
What skate park?
What skate park?
That's really funny.
Yeah. So it's a shame.
I saw this tweet yesterday about Deshaun Watson's cap hit this year. Here it is. It says, never before has an NFL player's cap hit exceeded $39 million. That all changes this year. Deshaun Watson's $54.9 million cap hit in 2023 will be the largest for any player in NFL history. Watson will hit the Browns cap for the same $54.9 million every single season through 2026.
Good God, man. I mean, like usually when you see that, they're like, oh, it's a new record and it's like a million more, right? It's not like 15 million.
Multiple millions. Yeah.
That's what happens when the contract is every single dollar is fully guaranteed. That is something. I mean, we'll have to see though. You know, it's at first glance, you say that there's no way it's going to work, but I've seen this guy play at a super high level. So we'll have to see if he can bring it back. He was top 5 every year, every single year, including the year where the team won like 3 games. So
If he
we
doesn't do
got-
it, if he doesn't do it this year, what do you think they start to do? You think they start to move away from Deshaun Watson?
in what possible way?
I don't
mean,
know.
like,
I don't think they can, but like
I don't think they can. I think they've made their bed, and now they
stuck.
just like because I don't even think he can really be traded. Like if he sucks with all the stigma on him, I mean, I don't even know how you could trade him with that contract. They would have to take like their first round pick plus Deshaun Watson and give it
They would
away
be
for
done.
a 6th round pick. Yeah,
They
so
would be done. They'd be done for a long time.
yeah, I think they know what they've done. And I think they're as much fun as it would be for him to just be terrible. I think he's going to come back and play at least
think
at
he
a
is too.
reasonable level. Yeah.
I think so too. I think he's good enough.
Yeah, but that's
do
just
that.
crazy that they would make that commitment because that was the criticism for years about the number 1 guy that got that kind of criticism was Drew Brees because he was always responsible for such a large percentage of the Saints cap. And the one time that he wasn't, they won the Super Bowl. And in so many other years, he was like 16, 17% of the cap. Whereas like Brady and even Manning and some of these other guys found ways to make it work where they weren't such a huge chunk of the cap space. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, you look at that, and if they it really squarely puts it on your shoulder when they're going to give you that much of the money.
Right. Simon said hello from the other side. What up, Simon? Simon's internet went out. He'll be back.
He ditched the show to listen to Adele. I mean, that's
Yeah. Craig said Noah's Ark, the biggest water park in America, isn't that far from where I live in Wisconsin. I don't like water parks.
I kind of like water parks. So we see Noah's Ark, the biggest water park in America.
Interesting.
I kind of sense that.
They named it Noah's Ark.
What don't you like about them?
They're really dirty. I'm not like something about pools kind of freaks me out too. I'll swim in pools, but like there's a lot of people in the pool. I don't really want to swim in it.
Dude, we missed Earn Dog's joke. Wonka's Factory had a better survival rate than the kids at Action Park.
Wonka's Factory.
Wonka's Factory was kind of crazy. It was
like what 80% kill rate or something like that.
And not to mention, it's like, what do these kids do that was so bad? Like one of the kids, he liked TV, but one of the girls just like chewing gum, and they were like, "We're gonna turn you into a giant blueberry." I mean, it feels like the punishment didn't fit the crime on some of these ones.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
A little bit overboard.
A little overdoing it, you know.
Simon said water parks are disgusting, but I love them if I'm able to forget about it. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. The real problem is like if you end up in a wave pool and you do scrape your knee, and now you're really
you got tetanus. Oh, I'll never forget the King's Dominion wave pool one summer was just packed with people. And I just remember being in it and there being like band-aids floating by and just
and you always end up underwater against your will at some point.
Yeah, up against someone's thigh.
Just getting smashed up. Those are the days. Those are the days. Dude. There's a park up this way called Canopy Lake Park that is just kind of like I don't want to besmirch it because I have before, and people get really upset if you make fun of Canopy Lake Park, but Canopy Lake Park sucks. And
it sucks.
there's a few rides there that are not dangerous, but they're just like terrible. There's this one roller coaster called the Yankee Cannonball that it's not even fast or exciting, but all it does is just like rattle you around like in a painful fashion. Yeah, it literally is just like the neck hurty machine.
The neck hurty machine.
Yeah, old wooden roller coaster.
Oh, there's a wooden one up here. I think it's in Hershey Park. Called Wildcat. And I was just telling Maria I do not like wooden roller coasters. They're weird. Something about it just messes with my brain.
Right. It's literally just rattles you around and makes you think like you're going to get your arm lopped off by like a wooden stake. Like that's like the only fun part about it. And Simon says, "How dare you, Coop?" I know for a fact you've never been up to New Hampshire to go to Canopy Lake Park, bro. So don't try and pretend like you've been up there.
Trenton says, funny how Rodgers says he's plays for legacy and could walk away from his huge contract, but makes you wonder, why wouldn't you take a pay cut and have sat where the money goes and win chips? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' moves?
So did he just say that? When is he doing the thing? When is he doing the?
I think he's there right now in the
That's
shed.
What I thought too.
Locked away in the shed.
I don't want to. We can't even talk about any of his quotes, Trenton, right now because we don't even know if he's going to come out as the same person, and I have a suspicion that he might not. So it's
Like
hard
his
to be
mind
like.
just might change.
I mean, I think it could be a before and after shed situation for this guy. 4
Here's
days in the darkness, dude. I can't go 30 minutes without looking at my phone without having like a little bit of panic.
I feel like he's got his phone there. He's like, "Hey guys, are you checking?
He's just pretending.
Are you guys asking about me?"
Ooh,
Yeah.
dude.
Here's the thing, Trent. I think Aaron Rodgers probably wants to drum up interest. I think this is him creating, like, putting smoke into the air essentially to try and get people talking about it. I think we're going to see that a lot throughout this offseason. So I'm not really going to take a ton of what he says at face value.
Right. Yeah, this is smoke season, right? And every team has that guy, like the mouthpiece for their team, where they leak stuff to him and make it seem like it's a leak or information being reported on, but it's really the team getting the info out. Like the Patriots are notoriously have used guys like Mike Lombardi to get their message out. We're seeing it now with the Bears, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, we have legitimate reports they're going to take a quarterback, so you better give them a lot for this pick if you want
Trust
the
us.
quarterback. You know, it's like that's 100%, and that works because if a team is going to continue giving them other information they can report on during the season, they have to report on that stuff. It's kind of they got a monopoly on information. So you got to be careful with that stuff. So whenever you hear stuff from the Rodgers camp about, him being awesome or whatever, that could be the Packers and Rodgers obviously trying to get the right trade value to the right destination. So
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
Trent says restructure his contract for $1 million a year and get elite players around him, win 5 ships in a row. There's not a chance he takes a pay cut.
I've always
he wants to be the top of the market. That has been clear for a long time. He's not that type of player.
The other part of that is that the players union does not. They really frown upon that. They don't want people doing that. So
Like what Tom did.
So even Tom, like if you go back and look at the way they operated with Tom, is basically they would like set him up where he would get whatever left over. So they would have basically use as much money, and then like he would just be like, okay, here you go. Like the years that they weren't going to spend a bunch of money because they were collecting comp picks, they would give it to him. So he was friendly about it, but you're right, Joe. They did not like the players union did not like what Tom Brady did. They want everybody trying to get the most money possible.
Yeah. That's interesting. That is a very interesting point that doesn't get brought up, Coop.
Yeah, why? Because I mean, if you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Like they don't want people being like, because the owners are like, yeah, great idea, Tom.
Take a cut, yeah.
Take a huge cut, and then we'll just win. We'll just have parades all the time.
Yeah,
like
no, that is a ideal situation for the owners. You're right.
Of course, yeah. So the players union is there specifically for that reason. And the only problem I have with the players union is that the rookies seem to be very underrepresented in these negotiations, where it's like the veterans are looking out for the veterans, and then they always give them something for the rookies, whether it's a 5th-year option or an exclusive rights free agency contract that is basically you have to play for the team for the veteran minimum. Ridiculous. Another one, but
I wonder if we see a restructuring of that, how rookie contracts are constructed, especially with like things like NIL becoming a big part of the college landscape. It seems like that's the general direction we're going towards, is players with the most leverage are going to get paid the most. And I feel like rookies have a lot of leverage.
Yeah. I mean, they need to, they really need to figure it out with running backs, because the running back, I feel like they're taking a
it's like their whole half of their career is under rookie contract.
Yes, and they take a disproportionate amount of the damage while also being a huge part of generating the fan base, right? Like think about fantasy football, and
CMC,
now you're seeing
Saquon, Josh Jacobs.
We just saw it with like Najee Harris. Think about Najee Harris, right? He was a 1st-round pick, but he was an older prospect. So if they pick up his 5th-year option, do you know how old he'll be when he gets his 2nd contract? So he'll be on his rookie deal.
He was 24 when he came in, so he'll be 29.
He'll be 20. Yeah, I think he'll technically be 28, but he'll turn 29 during that season. How crazy is that? Like,
that's
20 years old.
His career's over.
As a running back, like we're like done with him at fantasy football at that stage, which is crazy. So yeah,
not just us, but the NFL. I mean, there's not many 29-year-old and older running backs, right? Derrick Henry,
Frank Gore,
Derek Kinnan,
Mark Ingram.
Cordell Patterson is another, but he wasn't even a running back. Yeah, but so that kind of explains why who was the big running back just now that went back to college to try and he went back to Michigan, I think it is, and Blake Corum decided to go back. It's like if you have an NIL deal, that's just as good, if not better, than a rookie contract. Why not go back?
Yeah,
get that.
I wonder if we start to see a shift around that. I don't know. I haven't heard many people talking about it. Let's get it started.
Let's get it started, dude. There's going to be corrections coming. This is the year that the tight end contract market gets corrected, I think, because you have such a weak. They franchise tagged a bunch of guys last year because they realized why not pay Dalton Schultz $10 million instead of paying a wide receiver $20 million. And now a bunch of those guys are hitting free agency at the time that the wide receiver contracts are so weak, right? Why the wide receiver, or not contracts, but the wide receiver free agents are like Alan Lazard, Juju, Jacoby Myers. What's the big difference between Evan Ingram and Jacoby Myers, where Jacoby Myers should get $20 million and Evan Ingram should get 10?
I'm so proud of you for not saying DJ Chark right there. I can't believe that you named more than 2 free agent wide receivers and one of them wasn't DJ Chark. That's honestly incredible, Coop.
I cheated because I was naming like mediocre guys. I didn't want to name any like super mega. I didn't want to name any mega stars. You can't compare it to a guy like DJ Chark to Blake Gesicki. That was very strategic on my part.
I see Trenton in the chat coming in. I think you guys were talking about the potential of Aaron Rodgers taking less money, saying it's not likely, and saying Joe Burrow is talking about taking less money to keep the squad together. I do think there's a big difference between taking less money and taking $1 million a year to get your entire team loaded up. Joe Burrow is probably taking $35 million instead of $45 million. Know what I mean? Or $40 million instead of $50 million a year. He's probably not taking $5 million to make sure this team can be loaded up. He's just making sure, however they structure it, they can fit the rest of his teammates, his Jamar Chase, his T. Higgins, his Tyler Boyd in there as well. That being said, I also think Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers are different people. And while I think maybe Joe Burrow, this is what's important to him, I don't blame any player, whether I like them or not, for just going for the most money. They're putting their bodies on the line. It's their work. Whatever's most important to them, that's what they should prioritize in their negotiations. And if that's money, that's money. If that's legacy, that's legacy. Just prioritize what you got to prioritize. Exactly.
And the other part is like, you never know what's going to happen. One day you can just bank on your supermodel wife and her hotels in Brazil. And then
the next day you can't.
Next day you can't.
Life comes at you fast.
It could literally happen to any of us. That's why you got to get that money. That's why you got to get that money now, right?
It's so relatable. It's just a wildly relatable situation.
Now you got kids with one supermodel to support, and then you got another kid with a famous actress to support. I mean, it's like same problems that we all run into
every single day.
You guys want to play some Weddle?
Every day.
Let's do it.
In there.
Let's do it. For those of you
please delete Craig's comment from the chat.
Craig said Jacoby Myers is mediocre. Coupe fiasco.
Please delete that before Patriots Twitter finds that.
Because if you have not played Weddle with us before, head on over to weddlegame.com and play along as we try to figure out the mystery player for today. We're going to guess NFL players. It's going to give us a little bit of information about what we got right, what we got wrong, things like their height, their number, their position, their division. And we're going to slowly get closer to the correct player. I think I got the first player today, if I'm not mistaken. You guys mind if I take it?
Nope.
Okay.
Go T. Higgins.
No, I'm not going T. Higgins. Is that who I went the last 2 times?
No.
JL, with his eyes shut yesterday, picked A.J. Brown, who's the first name on the list. So anybody you pick is going to be a higher effort pick.
You're a higher effort pick. We're going to go with Jamal Agnew as the starting player.
Why?
Okay. I don't know. It's just the first name that came to my mind.
Wide receiver, under 27.
Jamie Swag.
But close.
So 25 or 26. Taller than 5'10", so at least 6'1". Number higher than 39, so at least 42.
And in the NFC.
NFC.
And he's a wide receiver, so that means his number is in the 80s.
Most likely, yeah. That would make a lot of sense.
It has to be.
We got an NFC.
Can't be a wide receiver that's like number 40.
No.
Totally good. There's no number rules anymore, right?
There are. Yeah. No, for wide receivers, they expanded it, but you have to be 80 to 89 or from 1 to 19. You can't be.
It's weird because Jamal Agnew's 39.
But he's a running back.
He's a wide
Technically,
receiver.
but technically, he was classified as a running back.
I thought they got rid of all the numbers.
No,
The
you
number
can't just
rules.
you can't just be like 45 playing wide receiver. This isn't college. This isn't Rudy.
So it's you were close. It's 1 to 19 and 80 to 89 for running backs, 1 to 9 and 20 to 49 for wide receivers, and 1 to 49 for tight ends and linebackers, and 1 to 19 for defensive backs.
No, wide receivers you can be 80. They're
I'm-
all T. Higgins is 85.
I'm reading it to you from the NFL website. Just
tell you
telling
that's
you what I'm
wrong.
reading.
You read the RB one for wide receivers. RBs can be
2021 season and beyond. So the 2020 season and earlier was 20 to 49 for running backs. Now for running backs, it's 1 to 49 and 80 to 89. Wide receivers have the 1 to 49 and 80 to 89 range as well. So that first little blurb on the NFL website was
1 to
wrong, but
49.
we're down at the table.
so you can be a wide receiver and be like 43. Yeah.
Yep.
That is wild. I hate that. That's somebody should do that. Just to show everyone how ridiculous that's gonna look.
I didn't really like grow up thinking about the number rules, and so I like it hasn't bothered me to the switch. I know a lot of people it's bothered them, but it hasn't.
I'm the same way, Joe. I don't even know. I don't even read the numbers 95% of the time. Like we've seen playing this game. My blind spot is numbers. I have no idea anybody's jersey number. It's got the
Really?
name on it. Why the
I
hell
love
do I
jersey
need a
numbers.
number?
I love jersey numbers.
I can't
He's a jersey
wa-
number guy.
I don't like when they're different. Like I can't even watch.
Oh, really, Coop? I hadn't figured that out.
I can't even. I
Tell
can't
us
even.
more.
I
We
can't
hadn't
even
spent
watch.
the last 5 minutes learning that.
I can't watch. I can't watch Calvin Johnson college highlights anymore. I'm like, who? He's number 21. That's dumb.
Who are we going with after Agnew?
Michael Gallup.
He's
Like-
definitely 27.
Is he?
Probably on the dot.
I bet you he's exactly
I
27.
thought he was like 26. He seemed like a 26-year-old kind of guy.
He's
Terry
also.
McLaurin?
He's also. I'm pretty sure he's also number 13.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin's number's not high enough, right?
No. Terry McLaurin's. Is he 1?
Yeah.
Or am I just thinking F1?
It's an F1. Let's think of what about Brandon Ayuk?
NFC. Brandon Ayuk is he 6'1" or higher?
I
Yeah.
think so.
He is.
He's a tall guy.
But he's
Under 27.
Joey pointed out
Six.
Ayuk's number 17.
17.
Yeah.
But
What about? What
Dustin said I
about?
can't wait for you guys to get this one, which makes me think it's somebody we're not supposed to like.
Let's
Or
see.
it could be difficult.
DJ Chark.
I have no idea what number he is.
Coop. What number is it?
Number.
Oh, I
number
thought you
one.
were a Shark fan.
I am one of the biggest, but I
but even the biggest Shark fans don't know his
mega
number.
Shark fan. Don't know. Maybe 14. I don't know. I don't
Also,
think.
Joey was saying McLaurin is 17, not
10.
Ayuk.
Ah.
Just
So you
Oh.
want to go Ayuk?
Let's do Ayuk. He's also
get
17.
Ayuk in there. Ayuk. Okay, taller than 6 foot, but we're close. Number higher than 24. So, man, Ayuk
That's
was a little bit too
age.
young.
24 is age. Yep. He's
They're not in the
number
NFC.
11.
And the number is higher than
NFC
11.
West, not the NFC West. So he's NFC South, North, or East.
What's what number is Moondog?
It's a low number, I believe. I think it's like 14. But I could also be completely making that up. And he's not very tall either, right?
Yeah, you're right.
DJ Moore's
Okay.
2. What's
This
Amon
guy's
Rusty Brown's
6'1" or
number?
6'2".
Amon St. Brown's 14.
What
He
about
old
Justin
enough?
Jefferson? No, you're right.
Justin Jefferson's like 88, but I think he might be. He's not 20. He's not 25 years old. He's young. He's
Are you
still.
sure?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he is younger. This is his 3rd year in the league. I don't know if he was 22 when he came out, but was he 22 or 21 when he came out?
I don't know.
He was younger. Okay, so, yeah, it's not. Mike Evans 13.
Justin
Sounds-
Jefferson's probably taller than 6'2".
Joey, Chris Godwin's not 12 anymore. He's 14 now. Are we not supposed to be looking at the chat?
Look at the chat. They're working along with us.
Chris-
Amon-Ra St. Brown. What did we determine was wrong with him for this one?
You too young.
He's number 14.
And
Number
14.
14. Okay. Let's see.
Maybe it is DJ Chark. Get him in there.
You guys want to try Chark?
Sure.
Sharknado. He's in the age range. He's 26 years old.
Okay, the age is right. The position is right. He's too tall.
Too strong.
The north is wrong, and the number, he's only number 4. So we know they're not in the north or in the west.
So east south, we're talking Dallas,
DJ Moore.
Philadelphia, Giants, Washington, or Tampa Bay, Atlanta, New Orleans, or Carolina.
So at least we know he's 26 now.
DJ Moore's older than 26, right? He's like 28.
How old is CeeDee Lamb?
He might
So
be
young.
26.
And he's 80 something.
I think CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy came in the league really young. I think they're both still like 24.
That would make sense. Otherwise, I think CeeDee Lamb's a good guess.
Not AJ Brown, right? Or is AJ Brown young enough? How tall is he? That's a big guy. He's taller than 6'2", right?
No, he's not that. I think 6'2" is about right. But
What's
what
his
number?
number? AJ Brown's 11.
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb. Let's go with CeeDee Lamb.
Let's try CeeDee Lamb.
It's not CeeDee Lamb.
But it's
Well,
NFC.
we got the East right. We got the position right. The height, we know that they're 6'1" exactly and that their number is close to 88, but not 88. So they got a high number. That doesn't help me at all. So on the Eagles, Giants, or
88.
Commanders.
Oh boy. So this could be like Darius. It could be like Darius Slayton.
I mean,
Could be
Galladay,
Sterling Shepard.
Could be
Sterling
Isaiah.
Shepard.
Could be Isaiah Hodgins. Sterling Shepard's 29. He's way older than you think.
Okay. That makes sense. I feel like I've had him on my dynasty team forever.
CeeDee Lamb's 23. What the heck?
I know. That's why he was dynasty wide receiver like 5 in ADP.
Dang.
Slayton makes sense. And I see
Let's
Joey in the chat saying Slayton as well. You guys
Let's
want to
get him
try
in.
it?
Let's go Slayton.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on guess number 5. This is one of our slowest ones yet, but Slayton is correct. We got it on guess number 5.
That was tough, man.
Done it. We done did it.
We done did
That
it.
is a tough one. That was guess 5. It felt like way more. You got to be some sort of stupid to not get it in 8.
Hey,
And we do it with
sometimes
3 people.
I was gonna
guess
say
And the
that's
chat.
you always think it's
We
easy
do it. We
until
do
the
it.
one where you don't get it. You're sitting
do
on that
it.
last guess. You don't even realize it. Then all of a sudden you're like, huh. I
We
didn't
do
get
it.
it.
We do
I
it
don't know
with,
what that's like.
we do it with 10 people over the course of 15 minutes, and we don't even get it in half the guesses, and I'm like, everyone else is dumb but us.
Haven't missed one.
Idiots. Guys, coming up, we're going to play some more games and talk some more ball. We've got some vague descriptions coming up. We're going to do the first 2 rounds of a Dynasty Superflex startup mock draft. We're going to play some Quotey McQuote face and then impart some knowledge on you in the Moreau You Know. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on the Better Sports Network.
Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse on Better Sports Network.
Do you believe in the Madden curse? Do you think that's a real thing?
I did. Now, I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, but it was a real thing for a solid 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Peyton Hillis.
Well, LT was never on the cover. I know that.
Was he
never
not?
on the cover.
I thought he was one. Okay, well, you do know all the covers of everything.
Yeah, okay. So if you want, I could do this real quick. So Garrison Hurst is the first official Madden cover athlete, 1999. 2000, I believe they still put John Madden on the cover. And then 2001 is where it all started. So 2001, you have Eddie George. 2002, Dante Culpepper. 2003, Marshall Falk. 04, Michael Vick. 05, Ray Lewis, first defensive player on the cover.
Okay.
06, Donovan McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
08, Vince Young. 09, Brett Favre.
Okay.
10 is a trick one because it's
No way you know.
and Larry Fitzgerald. 11, Drew Brees. 12, Peyton Hillis. 13, Calvin Johnson, I believe so.
You're right.
14,
No way you know all this.
14, also a trick question.
Uh-huh.
I believe that's the Madden 25 cover, and it's Barry Sanders, unless you got it for the new consoles, in which case Adrian Peterson
Oh my God.
was on the cover.
You're not cheating. You're not looking at.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Okay. Okay. Keep on going.
15, we have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
16. Oh, okay, hold on.
Oh.
16 is Odell Beckham.
Okay.
16. 17. Now, this is the one I get mixed up because 17 and 18 are back-to-back Patriots.
They are.
17, I think, is Gronk, and 18 is Brady.
You are correct.
19 is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
20, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my goodness.
21, Lamar Jackson. 22, Brady Mahomes. 23, John Madden. Yeah, dude, I'm a cover nerd when it comes to this stuff.
We now know, but that was really impressive. I don't know how.
Thank you.
That's literally 29 of them or something like that. Wow, that is. You did not miss a single one, and you even got the special editions where they had 2 people on the covers.
Monday Night Rants on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're about to get into a game of vague descriptions, one of my favorite games that we play over here. So if you want to play along with us, hop into the chat, type in your answers. The contestants are going to have the chat closed, so they will not see what you guys are saying. We'll shout you out if you're right. We'll mock you if you're wrong, and we'll probably laugh if you're funny, but no promises.
No promises.
Well, I can't see the chat, so if Simon laughs at something in the chat, I'll just be like, ha ha ha.
He'll just awkwardly laugh along with him to try and fit in.
Try and fit in, and then I'll need it explained to me.
We got
That's
you.
okay. We all
Thanks,
laugh
guys.
at jokes that we don't understand, right? Everyone does that all the time.
Oh,
Kind of got
all
it.
the time. I did that a bunch this past week.
Who's hosting? Who's hosting this one?
I'm hosting this one. You boys ready?
Oh, baby.
Close that chat, Simon. We're gonna have to laugh if JL tells us to.
Oh, the chat is so closed. It's never been more closed.
All right. Simon, you're going first on this one.
Okay. Oh, we should explain how it works. If you guys have
should.
never played with us before, John Luke's going to give us a vague description and a category, and we have to determine what he's talking about.
You have to guess
That's
it.
the
If you do not guess it correctly, your opponent will get to steal it. If neither of the I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the two games. If I'm mixing up the two games, the rules. Whoops. Yeah, so those are the only rules. If neither or if one of them can't get it, the other one will have the opportunity to steal. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Simon, you're going first on this one. Your first category is TV.
Okay.
TV.
TV shows or just TV in general?
The category is TV.
Okay.
The vague description is a man makes a career change after getting some bad news.
Yeah, this would be Breaking Bad.
This is Breaking Bad. Well done, Simon.
Got
That's
it.
a good one. I don't know if I would have
Give
got
you a
that.
point. Going to give you 1.120. But Coop,
Simon's
you
good at
have
this game.
I
You gotta
feel
give Simon more movies.
What were you
I
gonna
don't
say,
watch a
Simon?
lot of TV either. I was just going to say with TV, though, I feel like having Breaking Bad be the answer is almost cheating a little bit, because I feel like when you think TV, you think immediately on your mind is Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like those are the shows that are just there waiting to see if what you say rings a bell, and then I start searching my memory bank.
It's like if we play Quotey McQuote face and the answer is Dan Campbell. Like
Exactly.
Your default is to say that's something Dan Campbell would say.
Yeah. The Minute
Breaking-
Man is in there.
Yeah, Breaking Bad is the default. All right, I'm ready for mine.
All right. Coop, your category is
Butt dark.
also TV.
All right.
And your vague description is woman and her friends learn how to be good people through repeated experiments.
Woman and her friends learn how to be good people. So it sounds like they're not particularly good people to begin with. Through repeated experiments. So, ooh. And it also sounds like the woman is the main character here. Woman and her friends learn how to be good people
I think I got it, Coop.
through repeated experiments.
So pressure's on, baby.
The heat, feeling it.
Think like science laboratory, and
I
I'm not
was
trying to throw you off.
I was immediately thinking science laboratory, dude, which is wild. But I don't really know many science laboratory things. Through repeated experiments. I guess I don't really know this, so I'm just gonna guess New Girl.
New Girl is incorrect. Simon,
That
would you
is-
like to guess?
It's an interesting way to look at New Girl, though. No, know what I mean? Like,
They kind of aren't
is.
good people, right? Like,
I mean, but they got some shitty qualities, and they kind of do become better people, all
They
of them
do,
except
yeah.
for Jess throughout the course of the show.
Just
Exactly.
stays stagnant.
Jess just stays exactly the same. Not that she was a bad person.
kind of
She gets a little less cringe.
This has nothing to do with a science laboratory, if I'm not mistaken, and this is The Good Place.
This is The Good Place, Simon. You are
Oh.
going to get this point.
I've never seen that one, so I wouldn't have got that. Is it good? I've heard.
I haven't seen it either.
It is good.
I've only heard good things, but I just don't know what it's about.
If you like philosophy, you'll probably like it. It's pretty good. It's like a,
Pretty broad.
kind of a typical network sitcom, but with the concept of ethics and philosophy mixed in, which is fun.
Does the
I
chat like Good
watched-
Place? I need someone from the chat to tell me they like it for me to watch it.
My girlfriend loved it, and I watched it the way I watch most TV shows, and that is just in chunks of her watching them. Like, I've
Yeah.
seen most of you, a lot of The Good Place, but
You
not
miss
all
out
of it.
on most character development then, because that's where
100%.
that's
This is-
I've had similar experience, Simon, and every time I've gone back and like watched it fully, I'm like, oh, like the character development I was missing. That really does.
I know the
make
premise of
it-
the story. I know
Yeah.
the story. I know how it develops, but I don't have any attachment to the show.
Yeah,
this is how I
which
watch
is
TV shows.
stubborn.
Like,
I'm 0% surprised by that. All right,
yelling
Simon.
at Giants fans on your phone.
yeah. Sorry, I had to fight
I-
someone on Twitter.
I don't watch TV shows.
Had to
that
defend
I-
myself. Had to white
I
knight
don't-
myself.
I don't watch TV shows that I'm supposed to be watching, but if it's a show that my wife is watching that I don't care about, I end up watching the whole thing
Nice.
and getting super invested. Like The Circle, I'm just like, no, they voted Pete out.
All right, Simon, this next one is yours. You're up 2-0. Have the option to extend your lead here.
I think I'll take that option.
Your category is football.
Know what that is.
Football. Your vague description is animal who needs assistance.
Animal who needs assistance. An animal who needs assistance. A mole. Why is that the first animal that came to my mind?
Category is football.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Animal who needs assistance.
Let's see. So whenever I'm trying to think of animal words that are related to football, we've got pylon, kind of sounds like python. Pylon, cam. A cam could be short for
Camera.
camera, which is what you would need assistance with if a python was getting married, because you would want pictures of your python
I can't
wedding.
even think with this.
So
subject.
I'm gonna go with pylon cam.
Pylon cam is incorrect.
Are you
Oh.
kidding me?
That had to be it. The
I
the-
know. I'm as
Python
surprised
wedding?
as you are.
Wow. Okay. So can you give me the phrase again? My
Animal
brain-
who needs assistance.
An animal who needs assistance. I'm thinking the word like what kind of assistance are we talking about here? Like safe or save or dog.
Help.
How
That's a
about
synonym.
if your dog goes outside and he gets covered in fleas, you need to get them off with a flea flicker.
Flea flicker.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is incorrect.
That was a really good answer though, Coop. Flea flicker.
We went there.
That is a pretty good answer. And
Oh.
as always, Simon would
Oh no, it's wrong, but I thought of another animal word in football, but I don't think it's
Ooh.
right.
What is it?
Dog
Say-
pile.
Oh,
dog pile is incorrect.
Damn.
A good guess. Coop, you have one more
Um,
opportunity.
Animal word. I did think of another animal word, but it's not a. It would never be it. It's a formation that Ronnie Brown used to run against the Patriots. Yeah, I'm running out of animals, man. There's. What about
There's
a
something with a horse and Brock Purdy, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't quite remember what that middle word was.
Is it a Trojan Purdy horse?
It is not a Trojan Purdy horse. You guys are gonna give me shit for this, but it's not my fault. It's Keith's fault. It's Gatorade.
Gatorade.
That is
Gatorade.
honestly great. It is.
Yeah.
It is good. We probably never would have got that. And Flea
Probably
Flicker
never would have got
Flea
that.
Flicker was a good answer, but Gatorade.
It
It makes sense. It at least makes sense though, right?
And Dustin said pigskin. Good guess, Dustin. Good guess.
Pigskin. That pig sounds like it wants you to
Ugh.
stay far away.
Yeah.
All right. Nobody's gonna get points for that one.
So I did not extend my lead, but I also
not.
didn't lose any of it.
I feel like I should at least get the possession arrow for Flea Flicker.
I'll give you possession arrow, but no points because that was not the correct answer.
Was not.
Let's see. That was Simon's. Now it's Coop's.
True.
Coop, you ready?
You can only get. I feel like you can only get those like bonus points if your answer is better than the correct answer. And Gatorade, it makes all the sense in the world. It really does, which is super.
It
annoying.
does when you think about it, but I wouldn't have gotten it.
I would have got it.
All right, your next category is musician. Musician. Okay. And your vague description is guy from the north who loves the number 6.
Guy from the north who loves the number 6. If it's not just straight 6, it could be Spanish for 6, maybe. Guy from the north, is he from Canada? Are we talking about like the Beebs here? I don't know many guys from. Could be 6'9". He loves the number 6. It's not Lou Bega because he's Mambo number 5. And he loves the number 6. Doesn't just like it.
From up north who loves the number 6.
Loves it.
I feel like you're getting sneaky with these. This one feels like one where you're gonna say it and I'm gonna punch something in the stomach. I'm
gonna go with Justin Bieber here.
Justin Bieber is incorrect. Simon.
Oh,
is it the Halo theme song?
It's My Heart Will Go On, you monster. Celine Dion.
But it's a guy.
Dion is incorrect.
That was in what way was that Celine Dion, dude? It did sound more like Justin Tucker doing the Halo sound.
Just because you guys don't appreciate art. It's literally like Celine Dion's most famous song from the Titanic.
Everyone knows. Oh, I'm very familiar with the song itself.
Yeah, it's the only Celine Dion song I know.
I'm not sure your rendition was sparking nostalgia.
Coop, do you want to take another shot?
Let's see.
Can you read the clue one more time, Joe?
Guy from the north who loves the number 6.
Huh. I was about to do a whole gotcha about how you never said it was a guy.
That would have been quite the gotcha.
If it was true, I would have totally eaten correct.
But I wouldn't have been so upset about your Celine Dion guess if it was not, if it wasn't Guy. Guy from the north who loves the number 6. Just loves that number. Can't get enough. Can't get enough.
The clue is somewhere with the number 6, and I can't quite put it together.
But the north part is the part. There's 2 parts. There's the north and there's the 6. Right?
That's true.
I can't. But is Canada too far north? It's.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
Did you get it?
I think so. I think so.
Okay. Then is it north? Maybe. We're talking.
Yes, anything.
Is it
okay?
The
category is musician. How?
It's musician. Let me guess. Number 6. If I'm thinking north, I'm thinking maybe like Snow or Vanilla Ice or something.
Please.
Oh, guess something is what you want me to do?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll guess Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice is incorrect. Simon?
I think this is someone who's running through the 6 with my woes. This is Drake.
Oh, OVO.
Let's go.
The entire time I was thinking Drake, and I was like, how do I connect Drake to 6? How do I connect Drake to 6?
You don't have to. I did it for you, baby.
And then it
Six
just
God. Let's go.
Thank God. Thank God Toronto Dave wasn't here. He'd be so mad.
Oh, he would have got so
He'd be
quick.
so disappointed in me.
And the chat, you know who did get this was the chat.
Yeah.
Freaking Nick in the chat said Drake, lol.
You say freaking Nick got it?
Freaking Nick. And Joey got it. Or Joey did not get it, sorry. He said Eminem. Oh, wait, that's 8 Mile, not 6.
Yeah.
And Nick
Eminem
said
from 6 Mile.
he did have Triple X Tentacion killed, though. He did not. But that is a theory. Ladarius Brown said Drake. What up, Ladarius? Good morning.
There he
Welcome in.
is.
Dustin said the
Caleb
weekend.
Presley Sunday conversations with Drake. I rewatched the entire thing yesterday. He interviews Drake and his son in this it's a 4 or 5 minute Sunday conversations with Caleb Presley. It is so funny. Drake is the first person.
What's the best bet you can make?
Oh my
Fatherhood.
He's the first person I've seen break Caleb in any of those interviews. Like Caleb truly didn't know how to respond to him.
I'm gonna go watch the whole thing later.
It's pretty
so
good. You should check it out.
All right, Simon, that's gonna get you an extra point here, bringing you up to 3.
Catch up, Coop.
Catch up, Coop. So they
This
call
last
him, and
one's-
Hal got it. He said Drake.
This next one's a bonus 1 versus 4. I heard that was a rumor.
Really?
I did
Heard
hear
wrong.
that.
Keith, can you
both
confirm
heard
this
wrong.
one's worth 4, please?
Keith is not your daddy. Oh, I got that one right. All right, or we already went through that one. All right, this next one is Simon's.
Indeed.
Simon's. All right. All right, Simon. The category is movie. Your vague description is a woman pretends to be man to be taken seriously.
Okay, well, this could be a couple different movies. Oh no, my heart tells me to say the Amanda Bynes one, but my brain says say the Disney one that everybody watches, you idiot. What would Keith put in there? Mulan. I'll just say Mulan.
It's got to be Mulan.
Mulan is correct.
Okay.
Well
I
done,
would've-
Simon.
I would've got that
I
one.
wanted to say She's the Man so bad.
She's
That
the
is
Man
such a
would have
good movie.
applied. I wouldn't have given you the points though.
I almost
I-
just blurted out She's the Man so fast. I'm glad I thought Mulan.
I wish you did. I had Mulan right away. Give me an easy one
Yeah.
this time.
All right, you asked for it, and maybe I'll give it to you. Your category, Coop, is video game,
Okay.
and your vague description is criminals wreak havoc on metropolitan area.
It's quite a few games, but feels like criminals wreak havoc on metropolitan area. Feels like Grand Theft Auto.
Sorry, Coop, it was Saints Row. No, I'm just
Was
kidding.
it?
Grand Theft Auto.
Could have been Saints. Could have been Saints Row.
It was
I'm on-
Grand Theft Auto. Well done.
I'm on the board, baby. When are they coming
4
out
to
with the next
1.
one? Are they ever going to come out with another one? Or are they just going to keep
They've been
adding
working
like,
on it for freaking 10 years.
online content? Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. I'm ready. I'll get it. I'll get it the day it comes out. Those games are fun.
Yeah, and then replayability super high. You just load that bad boy up. Like 10 years later, you're still playing it.
Throw some
never
codes
played
on
Tim
it.
said Animal
But I play
Crossing.
it.
Animal Crossing.
Yo, but for real, Tom Nook's a
Criminals wreak
criminal.
havoc.
You never
Tom
played Grand
Nook is
Theft?
wreaking havoc in a town.
He is though. He's 100% exploitive.
Call it time out. You never played Grand Theft Auto, Simon?
Not even held the controller while it's been on an Xbox
Really?
or anything. I've never even played it at a friend's house. I've never touched Grand Theft
You've
Auto.
never
Is it-
felt
Is it you haven't had the option? Like no one's offered, or you just don't watch it?
It wasn't. I don't know. I played like Animal Crossing and Pokemon and like Tony Hawk growing up, and then I don't know. None of my friends really played GTA. They were big like
Dude,
first
let's
person
play.
shooter guys.
There-
It
there's-
looks like my kind of game, like just a chaos. You can do whatever you want, like run around. There are no rules, except there are some rules, but you can do whatever you want.
Oh
when
man, we gotta play.
when Grand Theft Auto 3 first came out. So 1 and 2 were like overhead, like looking down. When 3 came
I played
out,
2.
yeah, Grand Theft Auto 2 was just like looking down on the guy though.
Yeah, it was
like, you
aerial view. You just run over people, and they'd be like little red stains on the road, but it was all aerial view.
Yeah, but I still played those ones too. But when 3 came out, and I like it was such a
San Andreas
huge
was 3
change.
San Andreas.
No, 3 was just I think it was just called Grand Theft Auto 3. Pull it up, but it looked so different than 2. Like it was the first time you were actually a real like dude on the street. In that game, man, I've never felt more power in my hands. I was like, I can do anything. anything. But all you could really do is steal cars and run people over. But you
My
got to get in
brothers-
there, Simon. You got to have that
My
power.
brothers left their PlayStation 1 at my house because my brothers are older. They're like 14 and 16 years older than me. And so they left all their games and stuff whenever they moved out. And so I used to sit there and load up, get my dad, be like, Dad, come in here. And then he'd like fall asleep and I'd load up Grand Theft Auto. I wasn't allowed to play it. I played the aerial V1.
So you had more power than anyone's ever had.
Yeah, I was like, please don't wake up.
Yeah.
Mom, don't come in.
Yeah, those are crazy. Even the original ones were violent, but when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, people were like, kids, you should not be playing this.
Yeah.
That was the original bad boy.
Kevin said Vice City, baby. Vice City is so good. San Andreas and Vice City were like a huge part of my childhood.
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable.
Said the radio station. Nick said the radio stations are amazing.
So good, dude. They had no
They are.
business being that good.
Jealous.
They paid up. They definitely paid up because there was like Ice Cube and stuff on there. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
some sick songs. Gorillas in the Mist.
They got some. Now they have some fire music on there.
All of them, dude. Yeah, you got to get in there, Simon. That's your homework assignment.
Okay. Sorry. Anybody who needed anything from me rest of the day, I'm busy.
I got
Busy.
murderings. I got murderings to do.
I'm busy. I'm gonna go steal some cars and kill some people, and we're gonna call it a day.
And the storylines are awesome too. That's
In a video
the fun
game.
part.
I just want to make sure I said that out loud because
Yeah,
we
of
are.
course.
This is recorded.
All right, you guys
think-
want to do one more round?
100%.
One more. What am I?
Last final round.
This one's
All
worth
right.
10. This one's for
Simon,
all the marbles.
You are going first. Your category is movie, and
I've
your
seen
big
one or two of
description
those.
is a guy's final performance.
A guy's final performance.
Guy's final performance.
A guy's final performance. One more performance. We're going down in a big ball of glory. Who's doing one more thing? I'm trying to decide if this is like the Evel Knievel route or like the famous musician route. Like which way is this? Someone doing one more big show on their way out the door? I don't know. The category is movie, right, Jail?
There's a lot
It
of
is.
different kinds of shows, right?
Yeah, one last performance. I don't know. Let's go with a movie with the word show in the title, The Greatest Showman.
This is not The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Coop?
A movie where it's the final performance. Is it
God,
I have a usually these are kind of funny, and I have an answer that there's no way it's this because it's really sad. Is this The Pianist?
This is not The Pianist. That would be pretty sad.
Pretty
Prompt
sad
to
choice.
throw in-
Pretty
to
sad
throw
prompt
into
for
this
this
game.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mine went immediately
Schindler's-
sad as
the
well
answer-
with some of my other answers, and I was like, no, it's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be one of the ones where like this would be like really depressing.
We
to
play
say
this
out loud.
silly word game, and the answer is like Schindler's List.
It's just
It's
terrible.
your favorite go-to movie, Coop, to bring up.
It
Let's
is
see.
Schindler's List. It's a
It's
good
a
movie.
black and white sad movie.
Let's see. Where Simon,
It's
you
back to
guessed
me
wrong.
if I
so
want
now-
to take if I want to take one more guess, unless we're not doing that this round.
Yeah, you can take one more guess.
Yeah, and I know this one. Gives his last performance. This is a movie I've seen many times, and I definitely know the plot of the biopic Rocket Man.
This is not the biopic Rocket Man.
Is
Coop?
this the movie Birdman with Michael Keaton?
This is not the movie Birdman. This is the movie Magic Mike Last Dance.
Ah,
Oh my
damn it.
God.
I just watched that.
Yeah.
So dumb. Did you?
Yeah, but Jail and I were
Classic.
talking the whole time, so I
It
didn't really
happens.
remember the plot.
We were fighting people on Twitter.
We were drafting the dancers as they showed up on the screen.
We were.
Who went
Yeah.
first?
JF.
Matthew
Well, because
McConaughey.
I went. Oh, I
Funny,
thought you meant
man.
who picked first. And
Yeah,
you-
I picked first. I picked Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, good pick.
Thank
Good
you.
pick. Yeah. If I can't remember which showing of that was my favorite. Some of the 20 times I've seen it, but Maybe they.
I see Joey in here with Magic Mike's Last Dance. Joe, was that before you revealed the answer? Did he get that before you revealed it? It was a
I
minute
think
ago.
so.
I
think he
sure
did.
hope so. Wow, he did get it, dude. Some Hayek looking scrumptious in that one is what Joey said. Scrumptious.
That was well done. Well done. All right.
All right.
The final prompt. Coop.
We still have another one.
Categories movie. Yeah, this is the final one.
Let me close the chat then. Go ahead.
Category is movie. The vague description is father reunites with long lost son, wants him to take over the family business.
Ooh. Father reunites with long lost son and wants him to take over the family business. Wonder what kind of business this is. Long lost son. How about is this the one that Rex Ryan's in? That's My Boy.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
This is not that.
Okay.
Simon?
Can you read it for me one more time?
Father reunites with long lost son, wants him to take over the family business.
Father reunites with long lost son, wants him to take over the family business. Was this the movie version of the Bible?
This is not the movie version of the Bible. Whatever
that's
that
so
is.
good.
Coop?
Reunites with long lost son. So like there are some famous like father son movies, but I don't know like really famous father son like quote type situations. But I'm not sure the long lost part is the part that's making me miss it. Like is this Godfather? Is this dude? Is this Star Wars? Is this I Am Your Father? Is this him wanting Luke to join the dark side? Is Star Wars?
Star Wars is correct.
That's such a dumb. That's such a dumb prompt.
Specifically, Star Wars Episode 6. And the chat got this one.
Did they get
Kevin
it?
Tompkins said Star Wars. Dustin said Star Wars. Joey said my wife says Star Wars.
Why is it
Shout
so
out
easy
to
for the
me.
chat? Why is the chat always like fully on top of this stuff?
Dude, smart. They're smarter than you.
The
That's
chat's
what-
undefeated.
Tim said Finding Nemo 3. Forget about it. Pizza.
And now I open the chat. Matt also got it, dude. You got
Yeah,
it.
Matt in the chat.
Forget
better boss.
about it. Forget about
Empire
it.
Strikes Back. Forget about it.
And Dustin said, because we were smarter than you. You say that like
Just said
I
that,
didn't
Dustin.
know.
Dang it.
We are fully aware.
The little
Guys,
smarty pantses.
Coming up, we're going to do the first 2 rounds of a Dynasty mock draft, Superflex this time. We're going to play some Quotey McQuote face, and then we're going to go into a segment we call the Moreau You Know to teach you a little bit about something we've learned over the past couple of weeks. If you guys are enjoying this, you should head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss any of the goodies we're putting out. We got another game show later today at 3 p.m. Eastern time right there on our YouTube channel where our friends Jorge Martin and Kevin Tompkins are joining us to play some
Yeehaw.
Fantasy Fortune. So come hang out with us then.
Kevin
Easiest way to make sure you-
Tompkins in the chat.
Kevin
I'm joining
Tompkins in the
that.
chat.
I
Wow.
love Kevin and Jorge, so I'll be in the chat for that one. That's 3
Let's
o'clock.
go.
It's
3
going to be a good
o'clock.
one. 3 o'clock
I'll
on
be
our
there.
YouTube channel
I'll
at
be
Front Yard
there.
Fantasy.
I'll
Come
be
hang
there
out
for
with
that.
us over there. Right now, you guys are watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
This may be the beginning of the end for the University of Kentucky men's basketball team and legendary head coach John Calipari. Now, I know that might sound a little bit extreme, and I definitely don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but the University of Kentucky men's basketball team came into this season as the Associated Press's 4th ranked team. They had the 5th shortest odds to win the NCAA tournament. In Joe Lombardi's latest bracketology, Kentucky is on the first 4 outline. Kentucky has conference losses this season to the University of South Carolina and the University of Georgia in basketball. And that just doesn't happen. Now you may say, well, listen, everybody can have a down year. Everybody can have an off year. Well, that's not really been the case. Now, Kentucky hasn't won an NCAA tournament game since 2019. Now, things started off great. From 2010 to 2015, Kentucky made 5 Elite Eights and 4 Final Fours. They won the national championship in 2012. Since 2015, Kentucky has made 2 Elite Eights and 0 Final Fours. So what's going on? Well, the talent is still coming there. They're still producing top draft picks, but Kentucky just ain't Kentuckian. Coach Cal just ain't Coach Callen. The last time we saw the Wildcats playing an NCAA tournament game, they were a number 2 seed getting taken out by the 15th seeded St. Peter's team. That was just last year. Now they're in trouble of not making the NCAA tournament this year. Hey, Coach Cal, you may be needing to be looking for a new hardwood to call home, because I think your time in Kentucky is getting ready to come to an end. For more content like this and the latest in sports news and trends, download the Better Sports Network app.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Bum, bum, bum indeed, JL. Bum, bum, bum indeed.
Is that Celine Dion?
That is. How'd you know?
It just sounded exactly like My Heart Will Go On.
Exactly what I was going for.
Probably the best rendition I've ever heard on this show.
Just because you guys don't understand artistry doesn't mean that you have to insult me. It's just making you guys look bad. I put forth a beautiful rendition of My Heart Will Go On. It sounded just like the autoplay one on the keyboard I grew up with, and suddenly I'm the bad guy.
You know what?
You know what I love?
You put yourself out there.
I love whenever they put that song, like the peak of that song behind any big moment. Every single time it gets me. Like whenever they put it behind Hunter Renfrow catching that touchdown pass in the national championship game for Clemson, I get goosebumps every time I watch it. It works every time. I fall for it every time.
There's one, I don't know why, that reminded me of one of my favorite YouTube videos. It's like 5 seconds long, and it's Corey Brewer taking like a 10-step travel before a dunk. And in the background, it's "I Believe I Can Fly." It's the most dramatically hilarious video. Like legit, just walking up and down the court uncalled.
Beautiful, guys. We're about to get into our dynasty mock draft. 2 rounds here. We're gonna do super flex this time. We did non-super flex last time, and let's determine who's going first, second, and third. We will then alternate after that, but I'm going to RNG a little bit of this here. John Luke, you will be going second.
Random
Coop,
number generator.
You will be going third, and I guess that means I am going first, but I don't want the extra pick again. Does someone else want to go first?
No, you got it.
Damn it. Okay, Joe, you're
What do you mean the
second.
extra pick? I thought we were letting the chat do team 10.
Yeah, if they can get in there, but sometimes we have to make a final call. We have to make a judgment call right there. Simon, JL, Coop.
The chat will be on top today. Can you actually make some picks today instead of just making jokes? And then we can get through this.
I got the first pick here.
Joey Wright and Kevin Tompkins.
Guys, this is Superflex, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver league. Or no, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 Superflex, 12 teams. I'm going to make the first overall pick here, and I'm going to keep it simple. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's young. Patrick Mahomes is the first overall pick for me in a super flex league. I know there's some arguments to be made for other quarterbacks, but I'm not making them. I'll leave that to someone else if they want to.
Coop has the last pick, by the way.
I have picks.
Yeah, because this is a 12 team, not a 10 team. So.
You're right. We did 10 team last time. That makes sense. So, Joe, you've got the next pick. Patrick Mahomes is off the board. Where are you rolling?
Patrick Mahomes, I've got to go Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is the second quarterback off the board over the likes of, I guess we won't name them because they might get brought up later, but you still have him as number 2 even after this. I know some people moved him after this past season.
Yeah, no, I have him number 2 firmly.
Yeah, because those guys, they're 26 and 27. It'd be different if we're talking, I think, once you get to 30, you still have a lot of time left as a quarterback. It's crazy how different these positions are. Where at running back, You start hitting 26, 27, you're done. When you're a wide receiver, that's the age apex. And for quarterbacks these days, it's almost not even like the prime for a lot of these guys. Like they play for quite some time. The mid 30s is where you can, or the early 30s or so, these guys still crush it. So I have no problem taking Mahomes and Josh Allen there, which makes my pick at 3 easy in my opinion. Even in 6-point passing, I'm taking Jalen Hurts. The rushing upside is too good with that guy.
That's what I was hoping I would get here at 4, Coop. That maybe Jalen Hurts might slide 1 pick. And now I'm debating here because it's close between the next quarterback and what I view as the most valuable position player in fantasy football. You know what? After these, no, I'm going with the quarterback. I'm taking Joe Burrow here. There's one more quarterback in that range, maybe 2. Maybe there's one more guy I would take before I take the first position player. But Joe Burrow in a Superflex Dynasty startup, you're setting yourself up for a pretty long time with a great quarterback. So I'm rolling that direction.
Joe Burrow. I like that move. I'm going to finish out this tier quarterback in my mind. I'm going to go Justin Herbert.
Yep. That's the last guy I was thinking, Jalen. I was debating whether he belonged in that tier, but I think some of what we talked about yesterday, that he's been this incredible quarterback, maybe hampered by the offensive system that he's been in. They're getting a new OC. He's still just as young as these guys. And we've seen not just glimpses, but like actual greatness from him out on the football field. So he's up in that tier for those guys with me, Jay.
Yeah. And a lot of people out there might be surprised. You guys would be pleasantly surprised by my ranking here if this weren't a draft where you might want to have him on your teams. But I'm going to make this pick right here, and not just out of spite, but because I do truly have him ranked at 6 right now, and that's Trevor Lawrence. I think that Trevor Lawrence this year took a huge step forward in showing that he's the prospect that we believed he would be. When we said he was going to be Peyton Manning, when he said he was going to be Andrew Luck, obviously Andrew Luck retired early, but that's such a rare occurrence. If you could go back and take Peyton Manning in a Superflex league when he was 23 years old, like Trevor Lawrence is, I think there might be no other player you would go back and take. It's just to get his whole career. And not only did they add a bunch of weapons last offseason, but we're going to get Calvin Ridley this year. Like it's fully wheels up for this guy. So I have no problem putting Trevor Lawrence in the same tier as Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert.
I think I would have taken a position player ahead of Trevor Lawrence, but he's in a tier with one more quarterback that I would take next. I'm tempted to take him here, but I'm going to go Justin Jefferson. This is where Justin Jefferson deserves to be drafted. We've got, 6 quarterbacks off the board now. Justin Jefferson is already maybe the best wide receiver in the NFL, and he's still super young. Just what he's done in the first 3 seasons is unprecedented, and you have to imagine it's going to continue. So I'm rolling Justin Jefferson. John Luke, I put you on the clock.
And Nick in the chat said, is this Dynasty? Yes. It's Dynasty Superflex. PPR, and the rosters that we have is 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 Superflex. And it's 12 team. And we're just doing the first 2 rounds here. So far, we have 6 quarterbacks off the board. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Trevor Lawrence. And then Simon just took Justin Jefferson. I'm going to follow this up with another skill position player here. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. It feels like at this point in the draft, in a super flex, I'm willing to wait for it to come back around to me to get a quarterback who is going to be part of that 3rd tier probably. So I want to get the top tier at another position. At the wide receiver position, super important. Jamar Chase, I think, is arguably the best wide receiver to draft right there with Justin Jefferson. So I'm going to go him right after Jefferson here.
Jamar Chase. I think this is a round where we'll usually see position players start coming, but there's going to be some more quarterbacks mixed in there. But Coop, you're back on the clock. Is it going to be another QB, or are you rolling with a position player here?
Nope. I'm going position player as well. I have this guy not too far off of the 2 you just took. And we talked about him earlier that he, despite having the 3 years in the league already in the progression you want to see, where he's cracking, the second year he's cracking 1,000 yards. Next year he's cracking 1,400. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I recently looked at it. This is CeeDee Lamb. I think he's young enough, and he can be the staple of my team And if things pan out the way I think they might, then this pick is going to make a lot more sense later on. So we'll see how it goes in this draft. But yeah, give me
He's only 18 years old, so it's a pretty good
only
pick.
18, yeah, same age as Jason Tatum.
CeeDee Lamb as your next pick, Coop, which puts me back on the clock here. And this is where it gets interesting. I feel like we're into that next tier of QB and that next tier of position player.
I took the most conservative pick I could have taken there.
I was really hoping to grab CeeDee Lamb with that pick. That would have been a no-brainer if CeeDee Lamb was sitting there. But I think I'm going to make Better Boss a little bit unhappy here with the quarterback I'm going to take over Justin Fields. That's going to be Lamar Jackson. I still have Lamar Jackson ahead of Justin Fields. I like Justin Fields. I like Trevor Lawrence, but Lamar Jackson would be the guy for me in this spot. We've seen it from him. I only see boxes, Better Boss. So someone's going to have to tell me what those emojis are. They aren't showing up on my screen.
It's a bunch of them.
It's a bunch of them, though. But Lamar Jackson still has the rushing up. He still has the rushing upside that he had. We've seen him develop as a passer more than Justin Fields has. I trust Lamar Jackson a little bit more, right? I'm hoping in the development of Justin Fields. I trust the development has already happened with Lamar Jackson wherever he ends up. So I'm going to roll L.
And what people forget is that Lamar Jackson also came into the league crazy young to the point where he's actually younger than Joe Burrow, just by a little bit. But they're both 26 years old. Like Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, those guys are all the same age. So to me, the Lamar Jackson still has a crazy amount of football left to play.
Matt said you trust Lamar Jackson to miss games.
The
injury prone.
At least the chat has some picks today. They have some takes. I'll let the chat take my team number 12, but I will pick for you guys if you're being dumb. So let's keep that in mind.
Well, I'm up next, and now I have a choice.
Smoke the chat.
I wish you would have gone Justin Fields, Simon.
So you could go Lamar Jackson.
Lamar. Yeah, but that's okay. I'll go Justin Fields here. I'll get this last QB in this tier. For me, I mean, next you got Kyler, Dak, Tua, and that they all represent to me a solid tier down from Justin Fields. So I'll knock that position out and hope that some of my skill position players come back to me.
I think they will. Dustin's saying I say Hurts if he is there. Hurts was the 3rd overall pick in this draft, so Jalen Hurts is no longer available. Quick recap before Coop makes the last pick of the first round. It was Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. Then we had 3 wide receivers, J. Jeff, Jamar Chase, and CeeDee Lamb, followed by 2 more quarterbacks and Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields before Coop's final pick of the first round.
Yeah, so chat, what are we feeling here?
See Better Boss with Garrett Wilson.
Feels early. It feels early for Garrett Wilson, but I mean, he is crazy. He's 21 years old. He was just the the offensive rookie of the year. So he could end up being he could end up being the Justin Jefferson where if you did take him last year, now you're so pumped that you have him for a long time. Double tap Danny Dimes and Dak on the 112. We really should.
Danny Dimes.
We really should.
Kyle Pitts, then Nick saying Waddle, and Dustin saying Dak. So you got a lot of suggestions in the chat.
A lot of suggestions in the chat here. I think so. Going off my rankings and using the chat's picks, Dak Prescott would be the next here. I would have wanted to see if I could get Dak Prescott back on the team with Lamb, but looking at the way things are going, that's not going to happen. So, because I was hoping that the QBs like Jackson and Murray would last longer and Prescott can make it all the way back around. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go Dak to get them a QB. They seem to like Pitts, Waddle. Why don't we go with – I actually have Garrett Wilson ranked ahead of Waddle now, as crazy as that sounds. So why don't we go with Garrett Wilson? That was the first one that came in. I mean, A.J. Brown, Kevin Tompkins with the A.J. Brown pick. That is who I have next for the highest wide receiver. I'm going A.J. Brown. That's the pick. A.J. Brown for the chat team. Lock it in.
Dak Prescott.
Screw you, Kevin Tompkins.
A.J. Brown on the turn. Joe is hoping to get A.J. Brown.
I'm giving your ass the hardest trivia questions later, Kevin. I hope you know.
And the thing is, Tompkins, this is supposed to be the chat team. I'm counting on you to come in and make the right decision. I was waiting for someone to say A.J. Brown so that we could take him here. So,
sure you were. You definitely did not forget about him.
I got him right there. I wouldn't have said him out loud because I want him on my other team. That's how high I have him.
John
we
Luke,
got Albert in the chat said, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Albert." And I will take Jalen Waddle here.
Jalen Waddle for Coop. Except your name's not Coop. Your name's
My name is
JL.
JL.
For some reason I thought Coop took Jalen Waddle. To pair with Justin Fields.
To pair with Justin Fields.
We said the name quite a bit.
I was really hoping Jalen Waddle, that was going to be my next pick, JL. So we can call it even now after I took Lamar Jackson from you. How does that sound?
Even.
Even? Good enough?
Yep.
With this next pick, I'm going to double tap quarterbacks here to start with this team. I grabbed Lamar Jackson in the first round, and I know people have concerns about this player, but he's a young, hyper-talented quarterback that was playing with a coach that just got fired. I'm going to go Kyler Murray here, and I'm going to pair him with Lamar Jackson. What was the quote from Jonathan Gannon? He said, I would not have accepted this Arizona job if it wasn't for Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray was not the quarterback, I would not have accepted this Arizona job. So I know that's the
good answer.
Exactly. It's the new head coach saying what he's supposed to, but I also believe him. Why would he leave the DC job on the Philadelphia Eagles when they are freaking set up, man? Right. If it wasn't for a gig where he truly believed he could succeed. So I'm buying in. I'm taking Jonathan Gannon at his word. A man that goes, shoo, shoo, shoo. You got to believe every word that comes out of his mouth.
You can
so
run.
Kyler Murray's my pick.
You think he said the same thing to everybody? Do you think he said the same exact thing to Kyler Murray? Choo choo, you can run.
No, he changed it up depending on the player. He said, you can catch.
Yeah.
You can run. You can
the thing about Kyler Murray is that we know the talent's there. This team moved on from Josh Rosen after one season. And I mean, it's crazy in this league to think.
Rightfully so.
But like, how did they like? They saw enough after 1 year. So many times we sit here and say, oh, well, you can't move on after 1 year. You got to give him another year. They said, no, this is our guy. He's a super mega stud. And after what they saw from him on the field, they went out and made sure that he had no qualms about going to play for the Oakland A's, going to play baseball. They gave him a big extension with a bunch of guaranteed money that is as big as the A's entire payroll. So they basically were like, this is our guy. We're committed to this player. So I have no problem with that pick there. I probably should have gone Dak and Kyler, but I wanted to let the chat have a say here, and I probably should never have done that.
You got the next pick to pair with CeeDee Lamb, Coop. Who are you grabbing?
I'm going to go with probably a controversial pick, but to me, there's a massive teardrop in what I believe the kind of locked in and known talent is. I think this player, if there was zero on off-field issues, he would be going a lot higher than he is right now. I'm taking Deshaun Watson. He's the same age as Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. He's been a top 5 quarterback every single year he's been in the league. We can't really judge him based on what happened on the field last year. The fact that he even came back and was playing quarterback at a serviceable level is kind of impressive as it is. You know what I mean? It's like, to not play football for as long as he did and come back and just run an offense is already pretty impressive. And I think that next year he's going to be back to being the guy that we saw light it up and be a top 5 talent. So if I can get a potential top 5 QB in the second round at age 27, I got to do it. Like I can't pass up on that.
There's value. There's risk that maybe he doesn't have it anymore. Know what I mean? That what we saw was the best, but I tend to agree with you, Coop, that we're going to see better play from him. The only other concern is he's golden from the money perspective. He's got like 53 million guaranteed locked up as long as his contract exists, unless they restructure. Dude doesn't have to do anything to make them. Know what I mean? He can phone it in a little bit. Not that I think he's going to, but there's risk that he's lost the step in the 2 years that he played, and risk that they gave him fully guaranteed money on a team that we don't know that he wants to be on, because let's face it, the Browns organization hasn't had a track record of being great to their players or being like a well-supported organization. Who's to say this relationship doesn't sour? He's making $53 million a year, and it never pans out. Yeah, it's a little bit riskier is the only point I'm making. Like, I agree with Matt in the chat saying Watson, best value so far. For sure.
So far, yeah.
There's risk.
And there's risk, yeah. And there's a lot of risk taking him in the top of the second round. I agree with you, Coop. I think he's fine. I think he's going to be great.
He's had better seasons than some of the guys. Like some of these guys that have been taken already. He's already had multiple seasons that are better, and he's the same age. Like he's had
but
Justin Herbert's never had a season as good as the Deshaun Watson season.
Who's riskier, Justin Herbert or Deshaun Watson? That's the only point.
I mean, what's the risk? So, we think that Watson's no longer good at football. Is that the risk?
I mean, like that, what we saw last year is who he is, that he missed 2 years of football, and that's the play we're going to get.
On a new team.
I don't think that there's a huge risk of that happening, to be honest.
Okay,
Maybe.
that's fair. I think it's like more risky than Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. Like the names that I think you can make a case for are like Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. Know what I mean? If you want to say Deshaun Watson is equally risky as those guys, I'm fine. But to say that he's like, I agree with you. It's not like
he's a lot less risky than Justin Fields is a lot riskier. Justin Fields, there's rumors that he might not be the quarterback for the Bears. You know what I mean? Like his team was dead last in passing yards last year. So Justin Fields is obviously a riskier pick than Deshaun Watson. Is he not?
I agree. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. I am saying that Deshaun Watson, the only point I'm making is he's got more risk than a lot of these first round picks.
I will say he's got the similar risk to Tyreek Hill, where one more incident and he's done playing football forever. That is definitely a risk, right? Like if anything happens with this guy, he's done. There's no leeway. Like if Justin Fields goes out and has some incident, then he gets suspended for a couple games till he's back. This guy is on the super secret double 0.0 probation policy. So there's definitely a risk there. But as far as playing, I mean, I don't know. I go back and watch those games last year, and I don't see a guy that just sucks. Like, I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I agree. Again, no, I'm never disagreed with you. I think that is the most likely outcome. I fully agree with that is the most likely outcome. Just compared to Josh Allen, there's more risk.
Of course.
Yeah. That's
Now,
the only point I was making.
I will say this. If he comes out and it turns out that he does just suck, then good. But
well, JL, you're on the clock.
It is what it is.
My next pick here, I went Jamar Chase in the first round, and so I feel a little like this pressure to go quarterback here because there's not a ton left. It's been a pretty heavy quarterback draft so far, but I'm gonna actually zag here. I'm gonna go Breece Hall. I'm gonna lean into the value here. Yeah, I'm gonna lean into the value. Breece Hall, first running back here in the middle of the second round. That's big value for me.
I think with that pick, I love that pick here because I agree with you that you've entered another tier of quarterback where now you have to pick either an older guy that's serviceable or a very risky younger guy. And I will say that now we do have a team that your team now is the one that kind of needs to win now. You still have Chase and Hall, so you got some long term, but I don't know. Anytime I take a running back, the clock's ticking. Like for a lot of these guys, like Deshaun Watson, even him at 27 years old, Patrick Mahomes at 27 years old, how many more years do they have of being good? A lot.
Breece Hall's 20 is like a little over halfway through his 21st year of his life.
Right. So
21 and a half. So
what does
pretty young.
What does the win now more for me, JL, is less to do with the running back and more to do with the value that I know is going to be there at quarterback for you. Know what I mean? Yeah. As a team that didn't go quarterback through the first two rounds, you're probably going to be able to grab an Aaron Rodgers late. Know what I mean? A Kirk Cousins a little bit later, maybe a Derek Carr, even though you'll be able to grab some of these older quarterbacks a little bit later that don't have the value in Dynasty, but you can build up your position players on a team where you said, okay, no quarterback through the first two rounds. These other teams built up their QBs. I'm going to wait. I'm going to build up a superstar positional squad, the best in the league, and then probably still have quarterbacks that are top 5 in the league because people will draft guys like, I don't know, who are some of these young, unproven quarterbacks? They'll draft like a Davis Mills or a Mac Jones or a Bailey Zappi before they'll draft one of these old guys that's on their way out the door, and you can just snag up the value.
Yeah, a lot of people did that last year with Mac Jones and didn't go so hot.
It didn't work out. Here's my next pick. I disagree with you guys that the quarterback tier is over. I think there's one more quarterback that belongs in this tier, and I'm going to pair him with Justin Jefferson. I'm going to go with Tua Tagovailoa here. I'm believing that he's going to come back and play. He's saying that he's going to come back and play. His family's saying that he's going to come back and play. And what we saw this year was promising in that Mike McDaniel offense. I'm in on Tua. I loved him going into this past season. Whenever he was healthy, he balled out with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and I expect more of it going forward.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I think he is the last of that tier. I did put him, I think he's at the bottom of that tier because of the risk and the injury. But I think he is certainly, out of all of the quarterbacks left, the last one of his tier.
If he didn't
Every
have that
time-
concussion issue, I would have taken him up near Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. Like he would have been up there, same level of upside, but that risk is gone away.
Right. Came on through 25 touchdowns in fairly limited games. And the thing is, a lot of the things that I'm seeing are that he's going to play. You know, that the doctors are saying that he should be good, that he's saying he wants to play. And if you go back and look, like Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks, these guys, people were saying, oh, they should quit. They've had their injury issues. I mean, no one even talks about that with Devontae Adams anymore. Right. So, and Devontae Adams himself, he said, I left the Packers because I have a lot more football left to play and I have a legacy to build. So I'm fully on board with that pick. So from here, now I'm getting to the question, can we draft rookies in this? Like they haven't been drafted yet, or are we leaving them out?
Yeah, you can draft rookies.
That's interesting. Okay. I'm still going to, with Trevor Lawrence, at his age, I'm going to play it conservative here. And I am going to take Garrett Wilson, the offensive rookie of the year, and just hoping that with this build, like I'll have my a nice little core for a long time.
Garrett Wilson added to the squad with Trevor Lawrence in jail. You're back on the clock with your Justin Herbert team. That's who you took in the first round here. Nick wants to know, was Diggs taken already? Dropping names in the chat. Was that Jail's best friend? Maybe here.
That is.
He's a little older too.
He is. I'm gonna go with Kyle Pitts here. I'm gonna pair Kyle Pitts with Justin Herbert. That young tight end talent is gonna be a separator for this team for years to come.
I mean, if you think about it, I mentioned this the other day. The Travis Kelce didn't have 1,000-yard season until he was 27. Zach Ertz didn't have one until he was 28. As crazy as it sounds, Rob Gronkowski and Zach Ertz, they've each only had one 1,000-yard season in their whole careers, right? And this guy has a 1,000-yard season at age 21, and now he's 22. He had an okay season playing with nobody at quarterback. This guy has a lot of good football left to play. Kyle Pitts is the only tight end I'd consider at this range, just because of his age and the longevity of the position as well.
Talent.
It's good.
Better Boss in the chat said, better boss, best available. Garrett Wilson, Kenneth Walker, T. Higgins, Kyle Pitts, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, DJ Moore, and Richie James. Classic Richie James.
With my next pick, I'll be taking Richie James.
To
pair with Joe Burrow, I'm going with someone that is on Better Boss's list. I'm going with T. Higgins. He happens to be my next wide receiver, and I get to pair him with Joe Burrow. Get that nice little stack since they're definitely staying together, according to Joe Burrow. And it works out that it's the next wide receiver on my list.
It's a beautiful thing, right? I'm going to go.
Well, oh, yeah, you are back on the clock.
Am I back up? So I could.
This is the pair with Jalen Hurts. For everyone watching, Coop drafted Jalen Hurts on this team in the first round.
Yeah, I could pull the old block move and stop you from doing another stack with your next pick. But I think that when I look around, like look at what JL did with Breece Hall, like you're going to get at least, and I talked about like, oh, if you take running backs, you kind of have to be at least a little win now, right? But still, Breece Hall at 20, he's going to be 22 at the start of the season. He's got at least 4 or 5 years left and probably 6, 7 of startable production. This guy is coming off a great season as a rookie, and he didn't tear his ACL. He just earned the starting job and was pretty consistent week to week. So I'm going to take Kenneth Walker for the Seattle Seahawks on this one.
Kenneth Walker for Coop, which means John Luke, your last pick of this mock draft. You took Josh Allen with the second overall pick on this team. Who are you grabbing here?
I'm surprised this guy's still on the board, but I'm going Jonathan Taylor.
Another good pick.
I think he's next best running back here. I think he'll bounce back after this season. Tough season for him. Consensus number 1 going into this past season. And to see him fall this far is pretty wild. It shows you how reactionary the fantasy community can be.
Yeah, and you have to remember that one of the big reasons he's so good is because of Quentin Nelson. And Quentin Nelson feels like he's kind of been around for a while, but he's still only 26 and he's under contract. Like that pairing of Jonathan Taylor running behind Quentin Nelson is going to be a huge problem for a long time.
Yeah. With my last pick, I just want to highlight what I'm going to do. I'm on the turn here, but we're not doing a third round. But I do want to highlight with the 3-1, I would take Christian McCaffrey here. But with the 2-12 to pair with Patrick Mahomes, I'm taking Travis Kelce. I know he's 31 years old. This is a dynasty league. But if I start a draft, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Christian McCaffrey, I'm feeling pretty freaking good going into year one, right? And then on top of that, I'm still building around Patrick Mahomes. Like I've got two older pieces in Travis Kelce and Christian McCaffrey, but it's not like my team's lost after that. I've got Patrick Mahomes to build upon, right? Or to trade away for value after that, after I win that title year one with Kelce and CMC on the team.
And that's sorry, go Joe.
I say then you're on the turn here, so you would get another pick if we were
That's what
doing
I'm
3
saying.
rounds.
I
Yeah,
would take CMC with this.
No, you said he would take Christian McCaffrey. With
okay, I
this pick.
see.
Yeah.
Okay, I
So,
see.
but that's what you do. I would make a third statement. I would say I'm taking Travis Kelce and I'm taking Christian McCaffrey, and I'm also offering my future rookie picks for any of your picks before my next one. Right. And I'm just going in, dude. I'm just saying, hey, I'm making these 2 picks. I'm playing to win now. And then anybody out there that drafted for the future might be sitting there and saying, might be a good time for me to maybe push my chips in the future because this team's going to be tough to compete with. And now you see if you can sneak one more guy. I did this exact thing in a startup rookie draft that I did a couple years ago where I was like, you know what? I went all in now. And then I traded for another pick before my next one and took DK Metcalf. And that puts you way over the top. So that's what I would immediately take those guys and say, hey, I'm trading away future picks too. I'm going in. So anybody that wants them can take them. And people get all fired up. Yep.
Guys, that was our Dynasty Superflex mock draft, the first 2 rounds of one. We got some more games coming up. We're going to play some Quotey McQuote face, and then a little segment we call the Moreau You Know, where we teach you about some things we've learned. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
Baby J just wrote in the chat as we went to break that Nick Sirianni is the most punchable face in the NFL.
I think
I don't see it.
Well, yeah, I think people are bothered, and you saw the Giants bothered by the fact of how he was acting and his antics. And I'm growing a little tired of Kayvon Thibodeau on social media. Everybody
he's bothering me a little bit.
Well, everybody that criticizes Kayvon Thibodeau, he basically tells you, I don't know who you are, whether it be Jeff Saturday or whether it be Joe Staley.
Yeah.
Julian Love last week going on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network and saying Sirianni's in for a free ride. Just look how talented that team is. Well, I mean, I think it's a little unfair. If you're a Giant or you're a member or you are a fan of the Giants, you went in there on that Saturday night and you got embarrassed.
Doesn't it feel like sour grapes, right? Like it just feels like you guys beat me up, so now I'm just going to try to find a way to beat you down.
So, and if you're Kayvon Thibodeau, enough, shut up. I mean, you're on social media. Enough with the fact that anybody that rips you or criticizes you or going out there and saying or ripping the 49ers who didn't have a quarterback in the NFC Championship game and saying, well, we could have done a better job than what San Francisco is doing. Well, they didn't have a quarterback. And then Joe Staley calls them out. And then I got to have Michael Strahan tag teaming and jumping in and ripping Joe Staley. The fact that Michael Strahan got 2.5 sacks on him during his rookie year, where Joe Staley was critical of what Kayvon Thibodeau did this year. I mean, are we serious here?
Yeah, that's what we're doing here.
I mean, this is really what it's coming down to. I mean, why not hold the young man accountable and say, no, listen, zip it, enough. Like you don't need to comment on everything, nor do I care. Yeah. You're not Micah Parsons. You're not Lawrence Taylor. You're none of those.
But
things.
He thinks he is.
Well, but that's the problem. He's not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not. And I would say he has a long way to go to ever
and maybe he becomes one of the best. He could.
I mean, it's possible. Do I think he's ever going to be Micah Parsons? I don't.
He's talented.
He's talented. I'm not telling you he's not going to have a successful NFL career. But everybody that criticizes him, he says, I don't know who you are. Well, why don't you look up and have for the men that played in this league before you and what they accomplished in this league, that the league didn't start the day that you stepped foot in the National Football League. And sometimes there's reasons why people are going to go out there. And if you're going to make comments as stupid as he did in the NFC Championship game, you understand that you're going to get called out for it. And if you get called out for being dopey, don't all of a sudden respond with, I don't know who you are.
Moose and Keith. Weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I see Hal in the chat saying, why can't I use YouTube chat on my phone? You should be able to. If you're logged in, it should pop up on the live streams. I was YouTube chatting whenever my internet got kicked off there. If you have troubles, let us know. We can help you figure it out. But guys, we're about to get into an aptly named and very descriptive game, Quotey McQuote Face. This is the game where we're going to be presented with anonymous quotes and have to determine who said it and why they said it. If you're able to tell who said it and the context, you're going to get 1 point for each of those. Miss either of them, though, and your opponent will have an opportunity to jump in and steal either of the two available points that you left dangling there for them. Whoever has the most points at the end of our Quotey McQuote Face game is the Quotey McQuote Face champion for February 21st, 2023, a Tuesday.
You boys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, Coop, you will be going first on this one since Simon went first on the last one. Your first quote is, no matter how much genuine love you show, it'll never be enough.
Ooh.
Who said this and what are they talking about, Coop?
No matter how much genuine love you show, it will never be enough. This sounds like someone talking about their fan base, maybe, where like you try and give love back to the fans, but it's never enough. Because I mean, the fans are everything. And there's no NFL football without this massive fan base. You know?
And they're hungry.
So maybe let me say, who has a good fan base? The Buffalo Bills. Let's say this is Josh Allen talking about the Buffalo Bills fan base.
One more time, Coop.
I'm saying that this quote, no matter how much genuine love you give, it'll never be enough. I'm going to say Josh Allen talking about trying to give love back to the Bills fans.
That is incorrect on both accounts here. Simon, you have the opportunity to steal both points.
I felt like I painted a nice little narrative for myself, at least.
You did.
But I have a slightly different narrative. This is a spurned player, a player who's been loyal to his franchise, but the franchise is now giving up on him, moving on. Someone that maybe has a flair for the dramatic, maybe has gotten a little emotional at press conferences before. I think this is Derek Carr talking about everything he's given to the Las Vegas Raiders, and now they're just cutting him free.
Derek Carr talking about the Las Vegas Raiders.
Incorrect. It actually is right. Oh, really? So I could have sworn that I saw.
I think he said things similar to that, which is why
similar to that. Yeah. No matter how much
Coop,
love.
I will allow you redemption here since neither point was allocated here. What would you like to take another guess?
Now that I think of it, I actually have seen this quote. I think maybe Ian Harditz retweeted it. I think this was actually an Instagram post by Lamar Jackson talking about his Ravens contract situation. So I have seen this, I think.
This is Lamar Jackson talking about his contract situation on Instagram. Well done.
I opened up the narrative path for you.
Once you said it, I was like, oh, that's it. And then I was like, oh, wait a second. I did see the quote. But I thought when you said Derek Carr, but then I just picked the other quarterback in a similar situation. I just saw that.
Well done. That's going to give you 2 points here, Coop, on redemption. Well done.
On Instagram. And I'm not even on Instagram. I had to see someone else resend it.
Classic.
Deep in there.
All right. Coop, that's going to give you 2 points. Simon, you are up next. And you have the opportunity to score 2 points here.
I got the chat closed and I'm ready to win.
All right. Here's your quote. All you people disrespecting Rihanna, shut your face. Shut it up. We living in a world where people got too much freedom. Keep your effing thoughts to yourself.
Is this Lord Don't Lose?
I don't know who this is, but they're right.
What do you think, Simon said this? What are they talking about?
My first thought was Lawrence Jackson at the conference rocking the pink Rihanna shirt.
It's a sick shirt. What's the can you read it for me one more time?
All you people disrespecting Rihanna, shut your face. Shut it up. We living in a world where people got too much freedom. Keep your effing thoughts to yourself.
Damn.
Who screams big time Rihanna fan in the NFL? I'm going to go, maybe this is ignorant, but I'm going to narrow down the search of players to the teams that played in the Super Bowl. They're the ones talking about the halftime show. So maybe I'm eliminating the right answer right away, but that's how I'm thinking about it is like talking about the halftime show. This is probably a player that was in the Super Bowl, like close to the halftime show, not allowed to go out of the locker room to watch it, but went home and watched it right after. Let's go with this is Chris Jones talking about people hating on Rihanna after the Super Bowl halftime show.
Simon, that is half correct. You got the context correct, but you got the person wrong. Coop, you have an opportunity to steal a point here if you can tell me who said this.
Yeah, I didn't see this quote, but I think Simon's got the right idea. Because, they probably, my guess would be it's somebody from the game. And my guess would be somebody from the Chiefs, because I don't know. When you lose a Super Bowl, you're probably less pumped on talking about the halftime show. I feel like, I don't know, Juju said a little too much lately, so I don't know if he would go out and say something like this. Give me Travis Kelce. He seems like a guy that would stick up for you.
Travis Kelce is incorrect. It's incorrect. And there's no redemption on this one since, Simon, you did get a point for guessing the context correctly. This was Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq himself.
Shaq, baby.
At the All-Star game, I bet. Yeah. Shaq's the man, dude. I love Shaq. I love watching Shaq and Charles Barkley just give each other, they just trash talking back and forth. That's one of my favorites.
Shaq is just, what I love about him is he's just doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Wants to be a sports announcer, he's doing it. Wants to be a DJ, he's doing it. Wants to be a TV
Wants to play
star,
basketball
he's doing
with kids in the neighborhood. He does it.
He's doing it. Like he made all this money, became like at a time was like one of the greatest, if not the greatest basketball player in the NBA while he was playing, and then said, and now I'm doing whatever I want, baby.
I think he's also like a deputy sheriff somewhere too. Like he literally just does exactly
part-time librarian.
Yeah.
He owns
Big
he owns a
Decimal
Krispy
System
Kreme donut near where my sister used to live in Atlanta, but then that Krispy Kreme burned to the ground. But then he would set up like a food truck. My sister was telling me one time Shaq himself came to that parking lot, like 2 blocks from where she lived, set up a food truck and was just selling the donuts out of the food truck in the burned down Krispy Kreme parking lot.
How does he have time? How does he find the time, dude? I just go. He's sworn in as a deputy in Georgia, so he's doing it all.
Selling Krispy Kremes and then going out on a deputy patrol.
And when I say like I'll be looking at like the posters for like pretty big music festivals, and I'll see like Shaq Diesel on there. Like he's doing like big time shows too, not just like popping up in like a little club or whatever. Like he's doing like Coachella.
He had his whole own music festival at the Battery in Atlanta, right by where the Braves play. He had it was a Shaq music festival. It was like 2 days of Shaq.
Diesel, baby.
That's wild. That is wild. And Hal said he has a private jet, makes you have more time. Yeah, it's a good point.
I guess that's true.
All right, let's see. Simon, you got 1 point for that one, so it brings the score to 2-1. Coop, you are in the lead, and this next quote is yours.
All right, hit me.
It's a perfectly thrown ball, but it's a little wide. Coop, who said this? What are they talking about?
Perfectly thrown ball, but a little wide.
It's a perfectly thrown ball, but it's a little wide. Is that what you just said?
That's what I just said.
I mean, you throw a good. I can know.
I got an idea.
I'm just trying to think of when this would be from. Like it feels late to be doing Super Bowl quotes. Perfectly thrown ball, but a little wide. Is this from the NBA All-Star game with maybe I'm guessing a bad is this? So I think Barkley and Shaq announced the game. So maybe this is a Charles Barkley quote, and he's talking about no, it's got to be football, man. Perfectly thrown ball, but a little wide. Now I'll stick with this. Is a Charles Barkley quote talking about a bad pass in the NBA All-Star game.
Bonk. Incorrect on both accounts.
What do you got,
Simon?
Read it for me one more time. It was a short one. I want to make sure I got every word.
It's a perfectly thrown ball, but it's a little wide.
Okay. Maybe a stretch, but this is where my mind went. I think this is CJ Stroud talking about the transition from a college ball to an NFL-sized ball. And he just says it's a little wide, but he's got a perfectly thrown ball. He's talking about his own throw, but then saying the ball is a little wide.
Oh, the actual ball is physically wide. I
Right,
was thinking like wide as in outside. Like
I was trying to go a different way with it, and I think that's the direction I settled on. This is CJ Stroud talking about the change from a college ball to an NFL ball.
Simon? That's incorrect.
Oh, damn. I liked it, though.
I really thought that might have been it. Yeah.
Coop, you want to take another shot?
Yeah. Let me go with perfectly thrown ball, but it's a little wide. Let me just go with is this maybe a first pitch? Baseball's not even back yet. Perfectly thrown ball, but it's a little wide. I'm just gonna go with give me Al Michaels talking about a bad pass from Jalen Hurts. I have no idea.
Al Michaels talking about a bad pass from Jalen Hurts is incorrect. Simon, your last chance.
This is Andy Reid talking to his wife about his swollen testicle after she perfectly threw it the night before.
Incorrect.
Damn.
She's throwing it. She's throwing them around.
You don't know the move. You don't know the move. Don't hate.
Jack got this one partially correct.
Really? You're telling me Andy Reid was wrong?
Al said Tony Romo, and it was Tony Romo, but he got the context wrong. He said Romo talking about Burrow throw in the AFC Championship. This is Tony Romo talking about Josh Allen pass to Stephon Diggs during the AFC divisional game.
I was thinking Tony Romo too for a second, but then I was like, Tony Romo didn't do the Super Bowl, so I moved it. Interesting.
The AFC division game, yep.
And I think I remember that play too.
It's a perfectly thrown ball, but a little wide.
What a ridiculous.
That's such a Tony Romo from this past season quote, though.
Right.
Well done.
Josh Allen could do no wrong.
Josh Allen can't do wrong. Tim said probably somebody calling everything about Mahomes perfect, even though it wasn't perfect. But it doesn't matter because it's Mahomes. Probably Romo.
You're very close.
So
Yeah,
right.
super close. Yeah. you got the author right.
The thing is, I have seen perfectly throw like really nice spirals that are just not even close, and I've also seen like Eli Manning throw a knuckleball that that gets caught as some sort of helmet catch at a Super Bowl. So. Not every good pass is a good pass, if you know what I mean. I'll explain later.
But if it wins the game, it wins the game. Let's see. Who went first in that one? That was Coop?
Yay.
The next one,
Yeah,
Simon.
because I ended with the Andy Reid ball thing.
That's right. Here goes. Here's your next quote, Simon. It is still 2-1. Coop is in the lead. Here's your chance to take that back. Here's your quote. 1, I don't care about people's opinions. I really don't. Besides the people that I'm working with and the players, I don't hear any outside noise. I don't pay attention to it, because if you do that, then you're not really being where your feet are. Simon, who said this? What are they talking about?
Can you give it to me one more time?
I think I've heard this one.
I don't care about people's opinions. I really don't. Besides the people that I'm working with and the players, I don't hear any outside noise. I don't pay attention to it, because if you do that, then you're not really being where your feet are.
Besides the people that I'm working with and the players, makes me think this is a coach. Like to the fact that they singled out and the players. I guess it could be a player saying like the other players. But I'm going to go, and a coach that gets a lot of hate. I'm going to go that this is Matt Nagy talking about a lot of the hate that he's gotten after his head coaching stint in Chicago, but focusing on the task at hand, being the new offensive coordinator in Kansas City.
That is incorrect.
Damn.
So I heard a very similar quote. But the thing is, the being where your feet are part, I don't remember from it. So I think that it might be somebody else that said something very similar. But Kayvon Thibodeau said something just like this when they were talking about Jeff Saturday. His he was like, when Jeff Saturday was getting on him about the celebration thing, he was like, I don't know who that is. And I don't care about anybody that isn't directly working with me that's not a player. He said something very similar. So I'm going with Kayvon Thibodeau.
Kayvon Thibodeau is incorrect. Simon, would you like to take a shot at redemption?
Yes, of course I would. And this quote that we're talking about that I fully remember right now, I remember now. Feet where my feet are. Plant them in the ground. That's who we're talking about. It's not Matt Nagy. It's not Kayvon Thibodeau. This is, you know what? Someone who would say players, but maybe feel like they were talking about a different class of people because they elevate themselves above it. This is Aaron Rodgers talking about the haters that are coming his way as he's doing the darkness retreat and figuring out if he's going to play or not. Aaron Rodgers has been the subject of a lot of hate this past year. This is him talking about just focusing on the decision he's got ahead of him. He's planting his feet where they are, in the dark right now, and who knows where it'll be after that.
Fantastic guess, Simon, but it's wrong.
Damn.
Can I hear it one last time? Just because I was...
One, I don't care about people's opinions. I really don't. Besides the people that I'm working with and the players, I don't hear any outside noise. I don't pay attention to it, because if you do that, then you're not really being where your feet are.
So I was hoping I'd get more from the being where your feet are thing, but that's not, I don't think that's a huge part of it. The outside noise.
So it's someone with,
I guess this, I'm going to say, so Eric Bieniemy just got a new job. I imagine he had to answer some questions, and I'm going to say that it's just him when they ask him about what people say about him not getting a head coaching job. That's just him saying, I don't pay attention to that.
That's a great answer.
Sticking to with what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing now. I'm coaching for Washington. So yeah, give me Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy talking about the hate he's gotten, his new job in Washington, and that is incorrect. This is Jonathan Gannon on the perception around Arizona heading into the interview.
That makes a lot of sense.
You probably left out some of the words he said. He probably said a couple like shoo, 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 shoo.
Wow.
So that was one. I imagine there was that was one.
Energy.
What if he went all the way to like 12? Like 2, pew, pew, 3, you can run.
That was just number 1. You're right.
Can we pull that clip up one more time, Keith? If you still can we just watch that again one more time? It is. Oh, dude, I swear, when we first watched it, you guys explained it, and I was like, I still got goosebumps from how cringe it was. Like my hair was standing up on my arm.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Good. Good. Shoo, 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 shoo. Shots. Explosives. You can run.
What are you doing, dude? What? Dude, why does he looks down like he's like sizing him up? He's like, oh yeah. He sees he's like, oh yeah, shoo. Like,
shots. Explosives.
Oh my god! Why did he?
That was the closed captioning afterwards. Like he did it, and then he realized, oh, maybe people don't know what I'm doing. Just so you know, shots, explosives. That's what that was.
Oh my finger.
So brutal.
That's just bagging. That's just begging for bad lip reading. To take that clip and do something with it, right?
I love
Dustin
him.
said he looks like Pee Wee Herman, and that's what I'm saying. Like he's not doing himself any favors with the outfit, with like the what's it called, the double button.
Put on a hoodie or something. Get like a nice fitting hoodie and show up, and all of a sudden you're gonna be like 10 times.
I don't think that
cooler.
Man owns a hoodie.
He only owns suits.
I think he owns sweaters and suits.
Only bow ties.
Yeah,
it's like if that dude from The Big Bang Theory was a coach.
Sheldon.
Yeah. Like
all of them.
All of them. Any one of them. I don't know. I on the second viewing, I like him. I'm in. I'll tell you this.
I like weird people. I'm all about weird people, so yeah. I'm ready for this guy.
You know who's
got Scampus would wear a hat. Any hat. Just wear hat.
Scally cap, dude. This guy. But you know who's got to be pumped about him being a coach is Mike McDaniel, because he makes Mike McDaniel look normal.
I think the jury's still out. We'll see. They're gonna have a weird off this year. See who can come out on top.
The
so
weird
far,
off.
I'm liking both of them. I'm liking this trend of goofy young coaches, like JL said earlier. It's a little bit more fun.
I like it, dude.
We got another quote, JL.
Yes, no, we don't.
That's the end of the game, so I lost.
Hell yeah.
Actually, we do have 2 more quotes if you guys want to do 2 more.
You're the game. You're in charge.
We actually only really have 1, so no.
You're the gamesmith.
Coop wins.
All right.
Boo.
I needed to win. First of all, I'd like to thank me. Couldn't have happened without me. Second, I'd like to thank Ani Coopy. Keep being super cool, Ani Coop. That's the end of the people I'm thanking.
Coming up on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. Stay in your seats, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going to give you some facts that will blow your socks off in the Moreau You Know on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Before the year, I said the Eagles were going to win the NFC East. I don't know if you remember that. I am a Cowboys fan. I do hate the Eagles. But anyone who has listened to me over the years knows that I can be objective. So I tweeted out, has there ever been a team that has an easier path to the Super Bowl than Philadelphia? Of course, the Eagles fans got on me. And I wasn't really alluding to the regular season. I know the tweet could be taken that way. But when you look at this playoff path, they had a first-round bye. Then they beat the Giants, okay? But anyone who was being reasonable, especially with Jalen Hurts, knew the Giants were not in the class of Philadelphia. Then you get to the NFC Championship game where the quarterback got hurt early in the game. And then the 4th-string quarterback, Josh Johnson, leaves with a concussion. And then they couldn't pass the ball. That's your path to getting to the Super Bowl. It doesn't mean that I'm saying the Eagles suck. I never said that. People are so sensitive. Anyone who's listened to me all year, I have given this team props. But the fact is, they had an easy path. And like, well, they destroyed both teams. They did. Now, the 49ers are good. And then someone's like, oh, well, they beat your Cowboys. Who did I pick to win last week? San Francisco, right? I picked San Francisco to beat Dallas. I didn't want that to happen, but I'm analyzing the game. I despise the Yankees. Anyone who knows me knows that. I had every Yankee starting pitcher on a fantasy roster last year. Every one of them. This year, the Superflex draft that we did, an industry draft, I took Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, Kadarius Toney. And people afterward, you a Giants fan? No, bro. I want to win. It doesn't matter what team they're on. I don't care. I want to win. Do I despise those teams? Yes. But I want to win. If I feel they're the best fit for my fantasy team, I'm going to draft them. If I feel a bet is going to win and I hate that team, I'm going to bet it. It's about winning. It's about helping people make money. We all have that little bias in us, no doubt. But I will say this, I'm being honest. I hope Philadelphia gets smoked in the Super Bowl, okay? I am rooting for Kansas City. My man Patrick Mahomes, dad played for the Mets. But I will analyze the game objectively, okay? Because I want the Eagles to lose. That doesn't mean I'm picking Kansas City. I'm going to analyze the game because I'm going to look at it as if I'm putting my money down. So it has nothing to do with that. And I don't know why people automatically, oh, you're a Cowboys fan, this and that. Well, yeah, I see your stupid avatar that you're an Eagles fan. You're clearly biased. Can we just agree that the path was easy? It doesn't diminish that they're in the Super Bowl. I didn't say they suck. I didn't say they don't deserve to be there. I just said the path was easy, and I don't think that's factually incorrect. And I didn't mean it for the regular season. I know it could be interpreted that way. Did they have great wins? No, but you know what? It doesn't matter. They were 14-3. They beat everyone they're supposed to beat. You know, they lost 2 games without Jalen Hurts. It's not discrediting him.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into some Moreau You Know, sharing some stories, facts, or figures that we have learned over the past couple weeks with you guys and with our fellow co-hosts here Also, I just wanted to say good morning, Mr. Scampers. Scamper said
Good morning,
What's
Scampers.
up? Welcome in, chat cat. Now
Good
go
to
back
see
to
you.
bed. It's too early for you.
Yeah, 6:34.
That's not too early.
Yeah, it's pretty early.
That's about when I wake up.
It's
when I wake up.
not when
And it's
I wake
way
up
too
at,
early.
I wake up at 5:30 because of time zones. They're
Stupid time zones.
My mortal enemy, time zones. I'm still on the 24-hour world clock train. That's where I'm rolling. Everyone's on the same clock. It just changes meanings wherever you are.
So we were talking about that for some reason this weekend, right? But the problem with that is TV would all of a sudden be either weird or you would kind of know where every show takes place right away, because now it's no longer, all right, the morning is 7 o'clock and the bedtime is 6 o'clock. Like if you just had the one world clock, you know, like it would be like some places it would be dark at noon, right? And you'd be like, oh, it's noon. Why are we still awake?
Because you would just adjust to the time. So like your morning would now be 3 a.m. to whatever.
And wherever you live, they would play the morning show at 3 a.m. Right? Like if we live,
you would just get used to that.
Big TV though would be like it would start making shows difficult to relate to as a bigger audience.
Oh, because they wouldn't know what time to say in the show.
Right, like in the show, it's hard to sometimes it'd be hard to relate if they're like, "Oh, it's noon. Let's go get some lunch," and you're like, "Lunch at noon? What the hell? We have lunch at midnight."
But it's setting, right? It's like, wow, they're in New York. I'm not in New York, but I could still relate to them being in New York.
Yeah, I guess that's very true. I don't watch shows that are in New York because I can't relate. I only watch Cheers.
Massachusetts.
I only watch Cheers. And I don't even know what else is in Boston.
I got The Wire, the Wire, and We Own the City, which are basically the same show.
Dustin, I love your extreme statements. World clock makes no sense. I didn't think about it that way, guys. I've abandoned my thought out position because Dustin said it makes no sense. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it.
Dustin never really Dustin does not mince words though. He is
he comes in and lets us know how it is.
I like that though. Have a take. You know what I mean? Dustin's got takes.
It makes no sense. Then I don't know. Maybe if it made more sense to you, you would have gotten the Weddle in 2 instead of 4 today, Dustin. Maybe it makes no sense because you gotta think about it a little more.
It's just mean to do a laugh track on an insult. That felt way too mean.
But I understand that it's not ideal. I just get sick of time zones, and that would solve my biggest problem, which is time zones.
Well, guys, you're getting too sleepy after a little vacation.
You wanna get into some Moreau, you know?
Yeah.
I got one. Do you guys mind if I jump in here? Share mine first. I want to tell you about. You might have heard of this. It's a story I've known for a while, but I find whenever I share it, not a lot of people have heard about the tale of the Australian truck driver, Bill Morgan. You guys know about Bill Morgan?
I don't think I do.
So Bill Morgan was an Australian truck driver. I think he's still in Australia, and I'm not sure if he's still a truck driver. But back in 1999, he got into a pretty bad car accident while on the job that left him in a coma for 14 days, 2 full weeks. He was declared legally dead, and that his chances of survival after that, clearly, if you're declared legally dead, are near zero. Miraculously, he comes back to life. And after surviving, he gets released from the hospital. The first thing he does, he's feeling lucky that he got out of that. So he heads to the gas station to buy a scratch-off lottery ticket. He's like, my luck is high today. Maybe we've talked about this. He runs off.
Talked about this one
on air. Did I share this one?
I think
before
you
already?
shared this one before.
Where you shared it? Yeah.
Did he win the lottery and then he won the lottery again when he went to go recreate it on a news interview? Is that
now that you're saying this? I am 100% realizing I shared this exact story last week, and I've been waiting all week, so excited to share this one. And I've already shared it. I've already shared it.
It is. We'll give you this. It's a good one. It was.
Fantastic.
It was very good when we heard it. Like
maybe you should just finish it for the people.
Finish it for anybody. Give us a quick recap for anybody.
I don't know if it was last week. I think it was a couple weeks ago.
I'll give the Reader's Digest version, then we can move on very quickly. In my mind, what had happened was I had replaced it with the Trix Rabbit eating cereal fun fact, but then I realized I just said that one for 3 seconds and then told this one anyways. Oops. Yeah, he won a car on the first scratch-off lottery ticket, and because he had awoken from a coma, the local news decided to do a bit on the guy who was dead and then won the lottery. And while he's recreating it on the news, he scratches off another ticket and wins $250,000 on the
so
news,
stupid.
recreating it.
The odds.
Still crazy the
Freaking
second time.
odds.
How about someone else share a new one? Unless you guys want to share one that you've already shared before.
Yeah, should we just do recaps?
Yeah, I like that.
I got one, or if you want to go jail, you can go.
Doesn't matter. I got one too.
All right. I got one. I'm going to talk to you guys. Do you guys know who Marge Schott is? Schott.
No.
So Marge Schott was a MLB owner. She was actually the second ever female MLB owner and the first one to ever buy the team herself without inheriting it, which was pretty cool. She bought the Cincinnati Reds. She won a World Series with them in 1990. And she did a good number of things that people did like she kept the prices of a hot dog. She was like, this is a family place. So the prices of the hot dogs are going to be $1. The box seats she kept them at $12. She sat in the box herself, hanging with her German Shepherd, right? So she did some things that people liked. She also did some things people didn't love. She was criticized for being too cheap. She said things like, I'm not hiring scouts. All they do is sit on their butts and watch baseball, which is kind of funny, but still, you should have scouts. She wouldn't pay for the scores to be shown at the games.
Scores to be shown at the games?
So there was a fee you have to pay to have the other scores for games around the ballpark. So say you go to a Yankees Red Sox game and you look at the scoreboard and it shows the score of the Tigers game. She wouldn't pay for that at the stadium. She was like, why would you
pay for it?
No, because it was a service that would do it at the time. It was $350 for the whole season or something like that. And she was like, no. She's like, why would people care about the scores of other games when they're already at one ball game? Just weird stuff like that, right? This is how cheap she was. When they won the World Series, she wouldn't pay for a celebration or a parade because they won in 4 games. And she was like, that's not enough games for us to make more money. They shouldn't have swept them. They should have played more games, right? She was crazy cheap. At one point, an umpire actually had a heart attack and died at the game, and she clearly re-gifted the flowers she sent. That's how cheap this woman was, right? But her being cheap was not her biggest problem. Her biggest problems were some of the traits that she had and some of the beliefs she had. For instance, she had a no earrings policy saying that only fruits wear earrings.
Jesus.
She had a policy. There were quotes that came from her calling players $1 million N-words and saying she never was going to hire another one. But the biggest thing, and what ended up being the end of the whole era for her being removed, and this was in 1996. So this isn't 1940s baseball. We're talking, they won the World Series in 1990, and that's when she wouldn't pay for that stuff. And these comments all came out in 1996. She fired one of the marketing managers, and one of the guys at the deposition basically came out and said that she said disparaging comments about Jews. And then he said she has a Nazi armband at her house, right? And instead of denying it and saying, no, I don't have a Nazi armband, she came out and said, well, it was a gift. And she added on to that by saying Adolf Hitler was okay at the beginning, but then he went too far.
Well, she's fired, right? She's no longer the Reds owner.
That was the last straw. But think about that. The guy goes, she has a Nazi armband.
That was the last straw.
And she popped out and said, Hitler wasn't that bad. That's like dropping a knife on your foot and dealing with it by pulling out a gun and shooting yourself in the foot. So that was the Marge Schott era for the Cincinnati Reds. And it's crazy to me because I heard the first couple things, I forget where I heard them. And then I went to look the woman up and I was like, what? This woman, she was still a part owner of the team until 1998.
It's absurd. That's disgusting and absurd, and I'm glad she's no longer.
Least fun Moreau you know I've ever heard.
Jesus.
Well, the thing is, these are
Moreau you wish you didn't know.
Oh, but you got to know things like that because there are people out there that are still doing and saying these type things even within the last 20 or so years, right? Like Marge Schott, she did eventually pass away in I think it was 2004. But yeah, she was still part owner of the team until 1999 or so, 1998.
Well, hopefully one of the last of that type of thinking that's going to be in those kinds of positions. Not cool, Marge.
Marge shot, dude.
And Scott Fish, racist red zoner. Yeah. Just freaking terrible.
Racist, anti-Semitic, like across the board. And there's a lot more than that, but those are some of the big highlights from the Marge shot era. But yeah, pretty impressive stuff from her.
Well, mine is much less terrifying, but it did happen around the time that she died.
Okay.
If you guys remember, 2003, there was an NFL draft, and the Minnesota Vikings missed their pick.
Shut up.
Are you guys aware of this?
No, I didn't know this.
I was like 9, so I don't actually remember this. But yeah, they were picking the 7th pick overall, but they were unable to complete a proposed trade with the Ravens before the 15-minute timer elapsed. And so because they did that, they were trying to make a trade with the Ravens to trade up so that the Ravens could draft Byron Leftwich. But because they didn't, Jacksonville swooped in and chose their number 8 pick, which was Byron Leftwich. And then immediately after that, Carolina jumped in and turned in their trade to get the offensive tackle. Minnesota, they finally came in and were able to get their pick in after the 2 teams after them. But at that point, it was already too late. So they took their next best choice, but they weren't able to get a deal done with the Ravens. The Ravens didn't call it in officially, so they weren't able to actually confirm the trade. And the Vikings just lost 2 draft spots and the potential of a trade because of a goof.
And you immediately triggered Scott Fish in the chat.
Yeah. They should have hired that Rosberg guy, the clock guy. They should have totally hired him. If they had him, this would happen.
Jerry Rosberg. He come in and call the timeout.
Yeah.
It is kind of ruthless the way it's set up though, right? Where like once you miss your clock, you can make your pick at any time, but now the other team can make their pick too. So it can slide it can go as far as people let it go. I kind of love that chaotic, like, let me sneak my pick in before this person can do theirs. It's
right.
It's exciting. But so is Scott Fish right that the Ravens did that too?
It doesn't say that in the research I've looked at, but it's centered around the Vikings. Very well could have. Scott Fish does know a lot, especially about the Vikings.
He said the Ravens missed their pick twice, and the Vikings missing the pick and still getting the guy they were going to take is the one that gets talked about.
The way I read it was that the Vikings were trying to save face here, saying that it's the guy that they wanted, but they ended up, it was clear that they wanted, who was it? Bryant McKinney, offensive tackle Bryant McKinney. That's who they took. And then they basically went back and were saying, no, this is who we wanted, even though that Bryant McKinney guy didn't end up even signing till October due to contract reasons. He just wouldn't sign his contract.
Wow.
Scott came back in and said, Ravens did it twice.
Ravens did it twice.
Twice, Jail.
I do see one time that that 2011, apparently the Ravens were on the clock at 26, didn't make their pick in time. And then the Chiefs jumped in, made their pick, but then the Ravens came back and took Jimmy Smith, cornerback Jimmy Smith after. So,
he's saying they did it twice in history, not this draft.
No, twice in
history.
history.
In this draft. Okay.
No, that'd be crazy if one draft every team was just like big slobs and they missed all.
I thought that this is it's just like it was a cascade effect.
I remember seeing a clip of Les Snead talking with Sean McVay, and they were like, let's take Taylor Rapp at this pick, and then we'll come back and we'll take Darrell Henderson with the next pick, right? And I'm like thinking about that clip, and and I'm like, wait a second, they took Taylor Rapp, but they didn't have the pick they were talking about for Darrell Henderson, right? In the clip, like, because they had like the cameras in the war room, and sure enough, if you go back and look at that draft, they had traded that pick in the trade with Kansas City for Marcus Peters. And they must have forgot. Like they were sitting there on draft day and had forgotten they didn't have this pick. So Kansas City made the pick in that spot. And if you go and look, they had to trade 2 third-round picks to Washington to move back up in the 3rd round and get Darrell Henderson. So there's like video evidence of Les Snead and Sean McVay being like, yeah, we'll take these 2 guys. And then they realized, oh, wait a second, we only have 1 pick. And they had to go all the way back up and make sure they got their guy. So kind of crazy how that can happen on the spot. Like, well, just think of the panic you have during your fantasy football drafts and multiply that by
times, a bajillion.
everyone's jobs around you. Like everybody.
So I realize I did make a mistake here. I'm confusing two different incidents with the McKinney part. This happened 2003. The McKinney gaffe was a year before, in which the Vikings were involved in another awkward situation in which the Dallas Cowboys traded down from number 6 to number 8, and the clock appeared to run out of the trade on their trade partner, the Chiefs. And the Vikings, choosing a number 7, attempted to submit the name of defensive tackle Ryan Sims, but were told by league officials the Chiefs had legally handed in their card to take the North Carolina star. So that was the year before. The one I originally brought up was the one where they took Minnesota finally exercised pick at number 9 slot, selecting defensive tackle Kevin Williams, one of the fastest rising players in the lottery. But yeah, it was clearly a mistake. The Vikings coach, Mike Tice, said, "I'm pissed. There's no other way I can put it."
You said Mike Tyson?
Mike Tice.
Oh, Mike Tice.
No son.
No son. I was going to say, I didn't know Mike Tyson had a stint as the Vikings coach.
Yeah.
That's when he got the face tattoo.
Yep.
When he was coaching the Vikings. I do love that as you bring that, I feel like we got like the alternate Minnesota Vikings fan of the history in the chat. Not saying which one's like, both of them, you're telling the same story. You know what I mean? Like neither one is like changing the details. It's just the perspective. The like, this is why this happened. This is why this happened. It's kind of fun getting a little bonus Moreau, you know.
I wasn't a Ravens fan at the time. I was also 9, so I had no idea what was going on.
This dude, wasn't Kevin Williams also the one involved in like the Star Caps incident? Kevin and Pat Williams, Scott?
I don't know.
So that was that dude was involved in all sorts of controversies. That was like basically like him and another player on the team, Pat Williams, they tested positive for this diuretic called like Star Caps or whatever that is sometimes used to like mask steroids. And if I remember correctly, they both appealed it for a long time, and Pat Williams appealed it for long enough that eventually they were like, "You're suspended," and he was like, "I retire." He just was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna retire." So that doesn't matter, and he never served any punishment for it. But that whole Star Caps thing, I think, was both those guys. Yeah, Scott says, "Yep." What a career for Kevin Williams. Then they fought it and retired before they could miss games. So they both retired before they could miss. The Star Caps thing went on for that long. That is wild, dude. That's a triple Moreau, you know.
Triple, yeah.
Yeah, the Star Caps incident.
I got a quick makeup one if you guys think we got time, since I just reshared one that I've shared before. Did you guys know that the Trix rabbit has actually eaten Trix 3 different times during the history?
You told us this.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm 100% kidding. I'm 100% messing with you guys. I want to talk about a New York Times article from 1899 that I found a couple weeks ago about a parrot. This is about a parrot that was owned by a 23-year-old girl, and this parrot was known for getting high on gas. It was what it liked to do. And everybody that knew this parrot, except for the girl, freaking hated it. It was known as like a devil and an ill omen. It was evil aligned is how people like refer to this thing. And this was back in 1899. People were talking about this bird as like literal like devil magic coming through in this bird. But it would rip the caps off of like gas burners and inhale the smoke or inhale the gas until it passed out on the ground. And then one day after the owner went to sleep, the parent pulls the gas burner off, releases gas into the room, and passes out on the floor, and then realizes that his owner's not coming to save him anymore because he released gas in the room and she was asleep this time. And so he runs over and tries to stick his beak under the door to prevent himself from dying from the fumes. Finally, someone comes in there and rescues him, and they find him huffing gas again, but his owner had passed away. No. But that's how they found the parrot, huffing gas yet again in the room. No regrets. It's just a gas huffing parrot.
Oh my God.
Killed his 23-year-old owner in 1899.
1899?
I thought my Moreau, you know, was a little dark. I'm glad you came in.
Tim said suddenly remembering being a bird in a past life.
That is wild, bro. If you catch your bird huffing gas one time, that bird's got to go. I'm sorry. Like if your bird
can rip the caps off of a gas burner and just put that into your environment, yeah, you should probably move on from that bird.
Yeah, some birds are crazy smart. You've seen the ones that like they train to like pick up cigarette butts.
Yeah.
If G-Man J were in here, he'd tell you that birds aren't real.
He'd point you towards the subreddit.
Even though he has them in his house.
But have you seen the ones that they've trained? They've like basically created these devices in certain places where if you put a cigarette butt in there, like bird seed will come out the bottom, and they've trained these like crows to just pick up all the cigarette butts and put them in there. They'll do it.
I've also seen like birds that are trained to like recognize the material something's made out of, like a bird that can do glass, metal, wood, and plastic. Like it can only do those 4, but if you put glass, metal, wood, or plastic in front of it, an object, it'll tell you what it's made out of after one little tap with its beak.
That's
some birds use their powers for good.
Others evil. Others huffing gas.
Huffing gas and murdering people.
It just makes me think how crazy stupid my dog is. You know, at least my dog's not causing trouble. Like my dog's not huffing gas. My dog's not doing drugs, at least, right? But like my dog's not sorting the recycling. Let's just say, you know, you know what I mean. She's living a happy life, but she's not doing a lot of math. Let's say.
Birds already scared the shit out of me before I read this story. Like birds are scary, man. They can fly. They've got beaks. There's a tongue inside of that beak, which is just disgusting when they open their mouths. Oh, I remember one time being at a pet store and like one of my friends was like, hold the bird. It was a big white bird. I'm not a bird expert. Big white one with like, I didn't know it had feathers on its head. But then all of a sudden it was a pelican for sure. Got on my shoulder. And then all of a sudden something pissed that bird off because its wings are out. Its head feathers are up. And I am in a full on frozen panic as I just don't know what to do. This bird's on my shoulder. Just
got talons.
Like, get it off of me. Someone get this bird off of me.
Like, I'll tell you right now,
screaming in a pet store.
I've said it before, dude. No one thinks that they're scared of birds until they're like right here. And then
until you're right up close to one.
Then everyone thinks they can deal with a bat or whatever until that's happening. And then you're like, nah. Out of here.
Bats show up on like the cute animal subreddit until you're right next to a bat, and then they're no longer on the cute animal subreddit.
Forget that, dude.
It's like those little spiders too. Well, guys, that is going to be it for us today. Dustin coming in with the birds aren't real here at the end.
Good.
We'll investigate. We'll let you know. We'll let you know by tomorrow what we found about whether birds are real or not. We will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. Eastern time for some more front yard fantasy fun. Until then, though, you should check out what's coming up here on BSN. You've got Moose and Keith coming up next at 10 a.m., followed by Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. And then at 7 p.m. tonight, we're going to have Tour Junkies with David Barnett and Pat Perry right after the playbook with Fensty and Ronis. So a full day of killer programming here on BSN. Stick around. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Until then, though, we are out of here. Adios, everyone. Enjoy your Tuesday.